Let's get it going. Share that stream out if you would, people. Please, we're going to have some chit chat tonight. Just kind of covering things that have been happening. Let's do this, huh? Let's get it going. This thing always kind of tapers off before the music ends. And it's a pretty dramatic intro. I know that much. What's up, everybody? How we doing? Happy Tuesday, the 21st of December. We're moving into it. Creeping up on the, we're in the holiday season right now. We're deep into it. Christmas is around the corner. So I hope everyone's doing okay there, finding some flow with their days and getting closer to the big day. It's been a big year, guys. I mean, we're creeping up on the last 2 weeks of 21, which, I mean, if 2020 was a big deal, right? We had 2021 that we just walked through and or stumbled through, however you want to position it. But it's been, man, how about it, huh? It's been wild. But here we are. There's a couple topics that have come up, obviously, that are pretty big in the news right now. Jennifer, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. And I think that I'm curious. So what I really wanted to do today was get more convo from you, from the viewers. I know that there's been a lot of things that have been hitting your radar, and I get a lot of people that reach out. They try to touch base about different stories that are happening around the country and around the world. Everything down to Australia. We've got things in Kentucky. We've got things happening in Florida, New York. We got in California. Obviously out in Minnesota, some of these cases that are going on, Michigan. It's just there's been so much stuff happening, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts on things. I want to hear what's going on. What's up, Loki Manis? How you doing? Tony Astro Man, Corey, what up? Lisa, Retha, Pam, Jen, what's up? I appreciate everyone jumping in here. So we're gonna look at a few video clips here as well as just kind of taking some Q&A. You know, I want to get some thoughts. Tanisha, hey, big shout out to Tanisha, you guys. She's been running the chill community for the duration, basically, and done an amazing job. She's planning her world domination, so she's going to be taking a little chill from the chill community, and you know, we're going to keep on grinding and trying to do our best to fill those very big shoes. Tell Kane I said hello, Vanessa. So, and again, thank you for sharing the stream out, you guys. I do appreciate it as we're getting closer to the holidays, or to the end of the holidays here. It's always helpful to have the, you know, as much notoriety running into the end of the year so we can kind of start things off the right way for 2022. Does that blow your mind? 2022, right around the corner. 22 years past 20. Man, it's aging us, man. It's aging us. So I hope everyone's doing good. You know, everyone tune in from where you're at. Once you throw it in the comments, I want to know where everyone's dialed in from right now. We're supposed to have hover cars, right? Yeah, we should be having hoverboards and cars that fly. I mean, cars drive themselves already. I mean, we're getting close, you guys. I know a guy, I was talking to a dude who had a little video, and he's like, man, the damnedest thing happened the other day. My car repoed itself. Like, man, what do you mean your car repoed itself? Like, my car repoed itself. Apparently, he has a Tesla. Gonna make some payments. Apparently, he missed some payments. And yeah, big shout out to everybody that's tuning in Pensacola, Seatown, Wisco, Rhode Island, Kansas. That's what's happening. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Everyone, Sacramento. What's up? I'm going to be touching base with the crew down in Baco, actually, Bakersfield, later on the night. So maybe I'll go live with that one too. But he said his car repoed itself, and he said that he came out and the car was like driving out of the parking lot, but no one was in it, and it like slowly drove itself up around a corner to another parking lot where a tow truck was waiting, and then it picked the car up and towed it. And I guess maybe, I don't know if he was exaggerating the facts, but apparently Teslas can do this. They can actually drive themselves around. And so the car, they said, hey man, you didn't pay your bill, and they just boop, hit the button. Off drove his car. He's like, man, that was a punk ass car. That's how he worded it. But that's pretty funny. Yeah, T-Dub, man. Travis down there. Those guys there's a good crew, man. Hopefully next time I get down there, which will be coming up here next month, I'll be spending quite a little bit of time down in Cali. So yeah. But pleasantries aside. Oh, hey, Jenny, how are things in Australia? You know, I definitely want to touch base because I would love to get someone's take on what's really going on down in the land down under. Things have been live down there. I don't know if you guys have been following. It's been crazy. Hey, Wanda, how you doing from Kentucky? You know, all big prayers and shout outs going out to everyone in Kentucky that's going through everything that's happened there. I have a you know, speaking of, actually, I might even be able to pull that up real quick. Well, we'll jump into that. Let me make sure to add that note to the list of things that I want to go ahead and touch on tonight. And again, this is pretty much an open forum, you guys. If there's questions you have, and little things, if anything you want to say, we can address. Let's talk about it. So someone just put one in here, and then I have some other stuff we're going to front load, and then we'll keep moving. But notice Antifa, BLM has been quiet. They have been busy staying hidden away. You know, okay, so a couple things here. So like the BLM thing, that really started dying down a lot. Like a lot of the BLM protests, a lot of the BLM demonstrations. And the Antifa thing, you know, what's wild, man, is they still have stuff going on, but they're so clandestine. You know what I mean? They keep everything so tight-lipped. There's no coverage, so you wouldn't even know what's happening, which is odd because if anything we've seen over the course of the sorry, I think I got something just turned on in the headphones here. I have no idea what it is. Oh, sorry. Here we go. All right. That tripped me out. Started hearing a lot of stuff in the headphones. But yeah, but they, you know, basically what happened is they come out for like almost enforcement type things, you know, but there's things that have been happening, you know, Portland, whatnot. But it's just got cold. I think that was one of the first things that happened. And At the same time, there's not a lot going on. Like it was like the summer of love, as they called it, right? But it was really more a summer of chaos, and that really kind of like built a big amount of momentum, um, and then it faded off. But you'll see them show up, as someone said. Um, they were at the mall in Oregon, kind of like confronting people that weren't wearing masks and whatnot, which is crazy that you see that. You see these not anti-masks, pro mask. I mean, these weird little flashpoints, which blow my mind that a mask is enough for people to want to have conflict. But I mean, um, which is interesting because Merry Christmas to you, Evie. Evie, sorry, I hope I'm saying it right. But you get a lot of people that are advocates for my body, my choice, human rights as it works out. But then they want to tell you like, but now you should absolutely have to like, cover your face up at all times. When if you were really concerned about your well-being, you could wear a full-on gas mask. Like I said, I have plenty of them. I have a handful of them in the trunk of my car. Feel free to rock one. You know what I mean? And then you're 100% safe. Put all the people you love and care about in a gas mask. Then if you have nuclear fallout, if you have any kind of chemical warfare, tear gas, things like that, you'll be safe and you're good to go. Also, probably will protect you from Omicron and all the other new variations of the dreaded, which we will not say, virus. So, um, yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna talk about that. That's definitely something we're gonna talk about. The TikTok challenge out there to go shoot up schools, man. I mean, all the way over to Maryland, where my nieces and nephew were in school. They didn't end up going to school last Friday because of that. But you're seeing a lot of, but to keep it on point here about the, I'm going to throw a star on that one to make sure I don't forget it. And we're going to talk a little bit about that one as well here. And that one right there. Hey, you guys, I appreciate you jumping in here with questions already. That's really cool. I appreciate it. Because there's a lot to talk about. But you're not seeing the mandates being enforced as much now. But and anywhere else I go, I've been traveling a lot for the last couple of months. I get back here to Seattle and I went to go into a Thai restaurant. Literally, I flew in, touched down, picked up my car, was driving, starving, went to a Thai restaurant, and they had like a barricade set up out front. Like right, you go in the door and there's a barricade. And I was like, oh, maybe they're only doing takeout. And I was like, hey, do I have to order to go? And he was like, no, but I need to see your vaccination card before you can come in, and you need to have a mask on. I was like, and then he said the one thing that people have been saying that just immediately I'm like, wait, what? I said, well, it's okay. I don't need a mask. I'm vaccinated, right? And he was like, vaccines it doesn't matter. And I was like, wait. So you're telling me that people who get vaccinated, it doesn't matter if you're vaccinated? Like, doesn't that fully defy the purpose of pushing for vaccinations and whatnot? And then I was like, all right, well, whatever. So things you have to say, right? So then you have to show proof of vaccination to order to go into public restaurants anywhere out here. It's crazy. Like, legitimately, they make you like get into your phone and showcase. I had a picture of my driver's license though, and I'm telling you right here. So I know they have to. These are state laws. I get it. You know what I mean? But I had a picture of my driver's license, and I just flashed that at one point. They were like, "All right, you're good." I was like, "All right, well, if that's all you need, right?" Yeah. So, and anybody wants to chime in about that? We're talking about the pro sports. Vax will not be tested for COVID anymore, only unvaxxed. So I've got a good friend of mine that works at the shipyard, and he's dealing with this right now, where they're sending him home because he's not vaccinated. And he's choosing not to get vaccinated. They're sending them home now with self tests. They're not cheap, and I wish I had a visual of what those are, but they've got these self tests, and these self tests that they're sending them home with. Apparently, as we sat down and looked at them, there was a ton of false positives that come up on that. And so then now you have to deal with the back end on that. Like, what do you do about that one? Are you having to deal with now paying for it yourself for the days off that you have to take? Because you obviously can't go back into work until they retest you. And then do they back end pay you for administrative leave while you're dealing with that? And it's just turning into a huge chaotic situation for people that are, in state employ, which I believe as it works out now, something like 75% of the shipyard employees coast to coast are unvaccinated, which means there's this huge situation they're trying to figure out on the administrative side on how to mitigate the amount of people that won't be working and will be working. And we're talking about people that are working on our naval fleet. So these, I mean, nuclear submarines to aircraft carriers. And so when we talk about things happening, these are all ripple effects, right? These are things that are happening throughout the nation in our interactions with the world. As deployments happen all day, every day, they don't go away. The people that are servicing these ships and whatnot are now under scrutiny for possibly, shutting people down and, letting them know that, you know, they can't work. So it's crazy. Um, it's nuts. Um, but again, I think that they're out there, these stipulations, the mandates and whatnot, and they're loosely enforced in most places. Most other places that I've been, people, it's whatever. People have been letting it ride. However, it does change. It does change depending on where you're at. So, so here we go. Someone says, so Jennifer, thank you here. As of December 31st, this PCR test will no longer be considered valid by the CDC due to their inconsistencies. They've always been bunk. So this is what we're talking about, these PCR tests, right? So, and now, and this is what gets me, and this is about as far as we're going to go into this. Now we got all these, the youth vaccinations that are coming up, and it's just a whole, I mean, I can't even jump into all of it because honestly, I'm not a doctor. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. Uh, just trying to figure it out myself, but we can't really jump into it, and so that's what's crazy about it. So, but it is stupid. It is stupid right now that it's such a hush hush situation right now. Now we know Kyle Rittenhouse is one of the Sandy Hook victims from 2009. Yeah, well, that's what we'll talk about that too. Sandy Hook, it was terrible, horrific. But yeah, back in Seattle. So hopefully moving into 2022, we're going to be able to come up with a more structured system, something that's going to be more feasible, much more viable, something that's sustainable. And I just honestly feel that like we're at a point where we're moving away from the thought that it's going to change, right? Like we become a new norm, and now we're just finding ways to kind of iterate our involvement and figure out how to better work with what's not going away. Because I don't think there's ever been a time throughout American history where the government has taken from the people a certain element of control to say, hey, we're going to do this for you. We're going to take that control for the purpose of nullifying something or rectifying something or fixing an issue. And then we're going to give it back to you, and having it ever have been given back. I mean, in all fairness, it's just been reorganized in a way where we've learned to accept that it's not ours anymore. So there's a lot of things you're seeing up here in Washington. Excuse me. There are freedom rallies, and what's crazy about these freedom rallies is the more you see those, the more these people are being like villainized as like fascist or white supremacists and whatnot. I mean, that American flag and people that are just out basically advocating for my body, my choice, my human right. And in a big way, you're seeing it up here, and I've been seeing it in other places too. They're being hailed as like, the fascists of it all, which is the craziest thing. If you guys think about it, the switch as it's gone from the like that liberal aspect of things to this conservative thing is this crazy dynamic shift, right? And it's gotten to a point now where everyone just is, so quick to throw something out, and just as a better way of rationalizing the fact that maybe you don't have an answer. So instead of getting an answer, we end up, chastising somebody, which is terrible. But Kristen Marlowe, it's good to see you as well. It's good to be here. Good to be here. It's good to have all you here. Appreciate y'all jumping in with me tonight. Yeah. So one of the first things I want to jump into here, we're gonna watch a little bit of footage of Kim Potter. So that was one of the first things on the list here was Kim Potter trial. So I was following that for a couple days. Honestly, it drug out so much that it got hard to even follow because it was just a bunch of, expert witnesses, expert testimonies. And at some point, it's just like, that's too much, until it came out of Kim Potter getting on the stand, which I think those are like the turnkey moments, right? Is when the person, like when Rittenhouse got on stand, you know what I mean? And when we go past that, we'll talk a little bit about, again, like Kyle Rittenhouse right now and where he's at with the news and how things are going there. And I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on that. But I'm going to add, yeah, I'm wearing a mask. Yeah. Yeah, New York. Okay, yeah, we're talking about people that are getting like flags ripped out of their hands and stuff. Yeah, Quincy had some stuff going on. The BCP. Um, yeah. So this is Kim Potter on stand, and it's a quick clip, a couple minutes here. We're gonna watch it, and I'm gonna field some comments while we're going through it, so we can kind of talk about it here. So let's see what she has to say here.
You'd agree that for a large part of the interaction at the side of the car with Mr. Wright, you were standing behind Officer Lucky, right?
Something to keep in mind here real fast. So Kim Potter right now, the trial as it's set up now, Kim here is currently the jury's out, so Justin, the jurors are deadlocked. They just announced it. So Julie Jordan. So that being said, where are we at here? There we go. So that's what just hopped on. Like when I was saying that I was waiting when something popped in the ears, I was watching the trial and waiting for something to change because it's just been like a holding pattern this whole time. But they've been deliberating for a little bit now, and they're waiting to hear back. But apparently, it sounds like they're deadlocked, and we'll see what that means. So until I hear anything, I'm not going to say anything. But I do want to. A lot of this I hadn't even watched because I was traveling, so I was only able to cover a couple of days of the trial, and then I was on the road a bunch. So I know a lot of you guys have been, and so I didn't get the chance to see this. So this will be my first time actually seeing Kim Potter on the stand. So we're going to watch this together. See what see what she has to say. So
right.
I was next to him at some point.
Okay. And you testified on direct that after you saw a scared look in Sergeant Johnson's face, that's why you decided to use the taser? That was your testimony?
Yes.
But you also told Dr. Miller that you don't know why you decided to use the taser, right?
I haven't seen his report.
Would it refresh your recollection to see his report?
Yes, please.
May I approach your honor?
You may.
Did you have a chance to look at that, Ms. Potter?
Yes.
And did you see the portion where it explains, when asked by this examiner why she decided to draw her taser, Officer Potter states, "I don't have an answer. My brain said grab the taser." You recall that?
I don't recall it, but it's in his paperwork.
So on April 11th, you reached down and drew your weapon, right?
Yes.
And you said taser, 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 so Officer Lucky and Sergeant Johnson would disengage, right?
Yes.
And they did disengage, didn't they? They let go of Dante Wright and stepped back?
According to the video.
And after you shot Dante Wright, you said, "Shit, I just shot him. I grabbed the wrong fucking gun and I shot him. I'm going to go to prison and I killed a boy." You said all those things, right?
I don't remember.
If that's what's in the video, that's what you said, right?
Yes.
And you said that there are a lot of things that you don't remember, and that on direct you testified that your memory came back when you saw your husband that day. But didn't you tell Dr. Miller that you remember seeing the gun in your right hand? You said that, right?
I don't remember my interview with him. I was distraught. I wasn't in a good place.
I would imagine. I want to make it clear real fast so that people that don't know what's going on here. So Kim Potter shot Dante Wright, thinking she had her taser. She pulled the gun, pulled her gun, said taser, taser, said I'll tase you, taser, 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 and then shoots Dante Wright one time through the left lung, perforates the bottom of his heart. I think it entered through his right lung and then stopped on the right side of his body. He bled out internally. I think there was like 3 liters of blood that left, that he went through it internally. Right now, she's facing manslaughter charges, and manslaughter in the 2nd degree is facing an imprisonment for not more than 10 years. So she's looking at serious time. And that's where this Kim Potter. And this is the Brooklyn Center police officer out of Minnesota, which just happened, which is crazy. This happened. This has all been happening like all around like this last year. It's just wild. So that's what she's on trial for right now. And she's facing manslaughter charges. And I'll let you guys keep watching this here. I'm gonna shut up.
After you shot Dante Wright, you didn't behave like someone who had just saved Sergeant Johnson's life, did you?
I was very distraught. I just shot somebody. I've never done that.
Well, you never asked Sergeant Johnson if he was okay, right?
I don't remember the conversations.
You didn't check in on him at all, right?
I don't know.
Well, you saw the video when Sergeant Johnson fed you the line, that guy was trying to take off with me. You didn't bite, right? You didn't respond to that at all, did you?
The video, I was crying. I was in shock.
And he was trying to make you feel better, wasn't he?
The objection is sustained.
Well, he didn't remember saying it, right? You heard that testimony?
Yes.
And you don't remember him saying that, right?
No.
And you didn't say anything like, thank God I shot that guy and saved your life. You didn't say anything like that, right?
The objection is overruled.
You didn't say that, right?
No.
And you didn't ask Sergeant Johnson anything except to call Chuck, right?
I don't remember what I asked him.
That would be on the video, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's curious that she got on the stand. I mean, I know that's always kind of like a.
You'd agree that
like Derek Chauvin
as a
didn't get on the
police
stand,
officer,
but
you have
in some cases,
the duty to render aid and communicate information to other officers, right?
Yes.
And it's part of your job to assist those who are hurt or injured. True?
Yes.
And to communicate to other officers what you know about a particular scene, right?
Yes.
Give them whatever information you can to help them do their jobs, to help render assistance, things like that, right?
Yes.
But you didn't do any of those things on April 11th, did you?
No.
You stopped doing your job completely. You didn't communicate what happened over the radio, right?
No.
You didn't make sure any officers knew what you had just done, right?
No.
You didn't run down the street and try to save Dante Wright's life, did you?
No.
You didn't check on the other car that had been hit, did you?
No.
That all happened just down the road from you.
Yes.
You were focused on what you had done because you had just killed somebody.
I'm sorry it happened. I'm so sorry.
Ms. Potter, from your reaction today and from your reaction on your video, you didn't plan to use deadly force that day, did you?
I don't know, Shannon.
No.
You didn't want
I don't
to
know.
use deadly force, did you?
The objection is overruled.
You didn't.
No. No.
Because you knew that deadly force was unreasonable and unwarranted in those circumstances.
I didn't want to hurt anybody.
You didn't want to hurt anybody. And you didn't think-
No.
And that's why you said, I'm going to go to prison.
I don't.
Thing to keep in mind here, like we said earlier, is that Minnesota state statutes, like the officer or the major sergeant, I can't remember what he is now, who was on the passenger side, was in the vehicle. He said, like, when he's trying to console her, and I'll show you that here in a second too. And like I said, we're gonna go through things tonight. Said he was like, Kim, he tried to drive away with me in the car, and what he was saying that for is that in those situations, the statute would apply the opportunity for deadly force, or the clearance for deadly force in a situation where they were trying to stop a driver from driving away, in that situation where there's another officers in the car, because it could be drug by the vehicle or run over and killed. So in that, the vehicle becomes a weapon at that point. And so due to state statutes, they say that it's okay for them to use that. Well, the issue here is that she didn't think she had her gun. And so how that plays in is where we're kind of at right now. She didn't know she had her gun. She says, and again, I've taken her for her word, and on stand, as she's testified under oath, that she believed that she had her her taser, and then pulled her firearm, and one shot was what it was. And a lot of people said they came around to it. They're like, well, if she thought she had her gun, if she had thought she had her gun, she probably would have pulled the trigger more than once to stop. You know, if she planned on using deadly force, she would have pulled the trigger multiple times. I don't know if that's the case. Like she said, she never had to shoot her weapon. So, or I don't even know if she actually had shot her taser. I don't know, but let's just let's keep cooking through here.
All right. The objection is sustained.
Ms. Potter, you know the difference between left and right, don't you? It's not been asked, Your
The
Honor.
objection is sustained. It's argumentative.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
So there's more. I mean, she was on the stand for a while. I'm not going to watch all that. But I am going to show you guys here real quick. The let me show you this one real quick. And this is what actually happened. So in case anyone's wondering, just because we are talking about it, then I want to get some opinions. No, she never used either weapon, Amber Walsh says, in 26 years on the force. So that's a long time to not have to use it. So, I mean, and they talked about kind of like the knee-jerk reaction for a lot of people under duress, like when they get to that point, the adrenaline's pumping, things that they do wrong. But again, someone died. Someone got killed. But I mean, she's had to go through training. So yeah, like, so Loki Mantis says here, training requires both. I guarantee she's fired both if she was on the force. Never at somebody, I'm sure, like based off what Amber was saying, but you have to go through training on these things, right? Like we watched the full videos of people getting tased in the military, law enforcement, like they have to know what that feels like. So they go through that training. I know the military does. I don't know if law enforcement actually forces you to, like, you know, get tased and stunned and whatnot. But so let me go and pull this up for you real fast. So this was the actual traffic stop that where Kim Potter shot Dante Wright. And so we're going to go ahead and add that in here real fast. And again, this gives you multiple camera angles of the event that took place. So, and you want to hear what's happening as it happens. So we're going to jump into it. So what we're looking at here is Kim Potter's on the left. The major is on the right. It's a little loud when vehicles pass by, I guess. So just give it a sec. But you can't really hear what they're saying yet, but you will. I'm going to take myself off screen here so you can just see it clearly.
You're under arrest, Dante.
So now there's the resisting right there. He's trying to get back in the vehicle. Offside play out.
Just stay back. You did? Yes. Okay. I shot him.
That was the car crashing.
Kim, sit down.
You see the car down there on the left corner, careening up by that telephone pole as it veered off, and Dante, I think, started losing consciousness pretty quick.
PI access 63rd and Captain Drive, Flexion 38 stop, start north on the red.
Starting north on the red, then can you repeat your first part?
Okay.
I shot him! Oh my god!
Okay. Kim, sit down. Okay.
Starting north on the red, then can you repeat your first part?
3205, we got shots fired. Start more units, please. We're going to need additional units to Noble and 63rd.
Yeah, and you can just, this is her just melting down.
Are you okay?
But right here, listen to this.
Reach your neck and 7 at gunpoint, 63rd and Captain Drive.
Okay, one of those right. 6
And
Kim, take a breath, okay?
we've got a civilian car injured as well. As soon as we get additional cars, I'll check for injuries. Suspects are not compliant, they're moving it.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Just
Pressure shots from 1 on the unit.
Kim, that guy was trying to take off with me in the car.
That's the point that I was talking about earlier, where it comes into the use of deadly force, and so that definitely played into the trial. That point right there, that that came in. But you can hear her melting down. At one point, she even says, "Let me kill myself," and we're going to keep playing it here and let you hear that. So, but then, like I said, a lot of people haven't even seen this. So,
3205, can you start some additional supervisors from other agencies, please?
keep in mind, she's hearing what's happening at the site where the car came to rest,
he's
like where
still-
Yeah,
you can hear them saying that he's not breathing. Like she's hearing the fact that he's dying on via the radio right now. So.
Yeah, Kim, take a breath, okay? Kim, take a breath. You're all right, Kim.
Reach your neck, and we'll take 2 rigs, stage them a couple of blocks out.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Copy, stage couple blocks up.
Driver, stop breathing.
So one of the questions people had was, why are they not going to the person who was shot? And I think that at this point there was another officer on the other end that was there right
Get him
away.
here on the red. I'm by myself, holding him a gun.
Yeah, you can hear the other officer right there. Yeah. So to be clear, yeah. So what you're seeing is the scene where Kim was at, where she shot Dante Wright, and then a block down the street, a little over a block, is where the car crashed, and you've got other officers that are down there they had guns drawn. They're on the vehicle and they're trying to get Dante Wright's girlfriend to get out of the car. She's in panic. She's trying to stop the bleeding, and she's saying, "I can't." They're saying, "Get out so we can help him." But at that point, she was saying that you can hear them saying that he's not breathing when they finally get to a point where they look at him and check on him. But I think that pops up in this as well. So.
Kim, take a breath. Kim, breathe, okay?
We can get the road shut down, westbound.
Yeah, just park
I'll take it there.
my squad, not
Yeah.
yours. Park with my
The other
squad.
the other police officers are working on Dante at this point, or trying.
Take a breath. Kim, you're okay. Take a breath, okay?
Reach him, I can make it 3 rigs. I got 1 male not breathing, 1 female with facial lacerations, and then I've got another civilian car that I have not been able to check on yet.
Copy, 3 rigs.
3205, we'll take anybody that's available. We need additional help.
5153, I'll be arriving.
5153, copy.
Squad, come to me at 63rd and Catherine so we can get the driver out and the passenger, and then we'll have to check on anyone else after. But the driver is not breathing according to the passenger.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. She's hearing that the passenger is saying that the driver's not breathing at this point.
1405.
Yes, we're all right.
Passengers
So they're
moving around, I
redirecting
can't see
traffic
him.
right now, right?
So
So
we're
they're
gonna
trying to
need
get,
extricate him if he's not breathing.
but you
So
can
I'm
hear that
waiting
he's
for
not
dispatch to
breathing.
come up with a plan.
Consensus now. Let's. I don't want. I want some opinions right now from people. I mean, just objectively, do you feel like she meant to shoot Dante Wright? And this legitimate question I'm asking of you. Like, in the comments here, do you feel that she meant to shoot Dante Wright, like with her gun, and subsequently killing him? Do you feel like it was a legitimate mistake? Okay, we're getting a lot of no's in here. Do you feel? What do we feel is appropriate for punishment in a situation like this? Had it been one of your family members? And that's a real question. I really want to know. I don't think that there was an intent for her to kill anybody, but I really want to know, what do you do? What's the punishment? Do you get 10 years in prison? I mean, she's already lost. She's not on the force anymore, so she's not working as a police officer anymore, and I'm sure she never will again. It's negligent for sure. Yeah. Okay. No, but she did do that. It has to have some sort of punishment, Cindy, right? She needs to be held accountable. Tony, yeah, Runa says it. But I mean, let's take everything out about Dante, just down to the moment where she thought she pulled her taser, but she pulled a gun and shot him. What do you do? And in manslaughter, like, does she get community service for 5 years and loss of her retirement? Nicole, okay. So we're talking about like loss of retirement. Okay. That's a monetary penalty, right? A lot of people are saying 10 years is a lot of time, because that's what she's looking at, a potential of 10 years for second-degree manslaughter, because they have to prove that she was culpable in her negligence. And which, I mean, it's pretty safe to say that was a negligent move. Loki Mantis says, I don't think it's a black on white crime. And that, you know what, I'm really tired of hearing that being put into such a center focus with so many of these situations. Even Rittenhouse, they were saying he was out there to hunt people of color. It's just, come on, man, step away from it. Step away from this. The race card doesn't need to be pulled into every situation, but it does. And now on the back end, they're saying, had that been a white person, it wouldn't have happened, had they resisted. I don't think Kim accidentally pulled her gun because it was someone of color. You know what I mean? And so that's where, like, people keep coming with the race question. Community service and probation. But I mean, here we got one here on CJ sitting here thinking about that. Again, we have a situation where the kid is trying to run from the cops. If that was my son and he had a warrant out for his arrest and he was trying to escape from the cops, he was putting his own life in jeopardy and other people as well. I would say that as a parent of my own child. Okay. Michelle Grasso, I appreciate you commenting on that. But if it was your family, you know what I mean? Like, if they accidentally killed someone in your family, man. And I got kind of people that went back and forth on it. The analogy that I was bringing up, you look at this gentleman, the truck driver, right? 110 years, right? That's 110 years. So think about it like that. Like, let's say that and I said this before, and this is probably the last time I'll use this analogy. Let's say you're a truck driver, right? You drive a truck. That's your job. That's the mechanism in which you use to complete your career is a truck. You drive it every day. Perfect record. No flaws. All around the country, you're driving that truck everywhere you go. No problems. Not a one. Nothing at all. Not so much as a blinker ticket. And it's your retirement day. Last day you're driving that truck. And you get a text message, and you look down at that text message for 1 second. Maybe it's from your wife, your husband, your daughter, your son, your family, and they say, hey, congratulations. Congratulations on, 25 years of an amazing career. And then you look up from that split second and you hit an oncoming car and you kill somebody. What I'm asking about there is man, because you have to be trained to use that as your vehicle of business, and you're trained on it, and you're reprimanded and you're demoted, and a lot of times lose your license if you don't follow the rules, and you get, too many things that go your way. If you're the family of the driver in that other car, what do you want to see happen to the driver of that truck? And again, it's a lot of people say that it's not the same, but I had my uncle was killed by a drunk driver. Doesn't even acknowledge that she did it. Like, this is years ago, but she drove across lanes of traffic, skipped the median, head-on collision, killed my uncle, and almost killed my cousin. Like, they didn't even know she was in the car. It was so mangled. They had to go back to the scene when her mother, my aunt, was like, well, where's my daughter? They're like, there was no one else there. And they're like, no, she was in the van. They had to go and cut the van apart to find her in the van. And this woman denied that it ever happened and got minimal charges and had to go to rehab. Minimal charges. She didn't get 10 years in prison, nothing like that. Minimal charges. And then had to take care, go through drug and alcohol courses and things like that. Or, I didn't feel like that was adequate. Even in court, she denied that she did it. She said that it was all made up. She doesn't even remember it happening. But that was the write-off. That was the write-off. So was it murder? No. Was it manslaughter? Absolutely. Did she, make, a widow out of my aunt? Yes. Did she take a father away from my 3 cousins? Yes. Did she take a brother away from my mother? Yes. So it's tough, man. But drunk people, man, like, seriously, like, if you're, yeah, right. Someone said it, drunk people get a slap on the hand. Like, people almost joke about it. Like, hey, if you want to go ahead and do something to somebody, just get drunk and do it. And then you can just write it off as being intoxicated, whatever. Anyway, so no updates as of yet in the Darrell Brooks case. Not yet. And you know what? I'm gonna talk to somebody. I think maybe tomorrow. We're gonna try to get some people on with the truck driving case, the truck driver and all that, man. Yeah, 11 DUIs, Loki says, and no prison time. So it's crazy to me. So let's take a look at this. Let's wrap some of this footage here. Keep again, this is Kim Potter here.
Okay. Hey, Anthony, and you just sit down here, okay?
Drinking is premeditated. That's an interesting way of looking at it.
The suspect I'm at gunpoint at is a flee from 38 stop. Working on it.
Hey, both you guys, okay? Are you anything injured?
207, whoever got a bunker, come on up faster and 63rd.
People are saying it's almost a joke how many DUIs people have out in Wisconsin.
700 for domestic, 15-year-old son, 26, 24, 94th Avenue. 414 arriving.
Hey, this is a come one, come all, guys. 100% open forum for everybody. No matter your political stance or your views in life.
Yep. Hey, Kim, as soon as we're code 4 here, I'm going to get all that taken care of for you, okay? Take care of that first, and then I'll need somebody. Take a breath, okay, Kim?
So I'm not sure what the minimal time would be, and that's the question. Like, how much time does she get?
Stay right here. Stay right here, okay? Kim, I'm going to take this, but give you mine, okay? No. No.
Just let me kill myself, Mike. Let's listen to that one more time.
Kim, I'm going to take this, but give you mine, okay? No. No, that's not happening, Kim. I'm giving you my gun, okay? I'm just going to hold on to yours. All right?
So at this point, he takes her firearm from her, okay? He takes her firearm, and he gives her his. I'm pretty sure that's because that now her gun is going to be entered in. He knows that it's evidence at this point. And then he goes up to her again, when she's in the vehicle, and he takes his gun, takes out the clip and the chambered round, and then puts the gun back. But this way, all guns are accounted for. So he's holding hers, she's holding his, and then hers has no ammunition, which at this point is probably good because she just said, "Let me kill myself." Yeah. Toby, yeah. So and I think we touch on that here in a second, but
Kim, we'll get it all figured out, okay?
I don't know. I don't know what's happened.
Okay, Kim, sit down, please. Okay, my gun and your holster.
I don't know what happened. Okay. I don't know.
But can you come over and sit by Lucky?
Yeah.
Okay.
I shut the camera off after.
I'm still rolling.
It's fine. I don't.
so that was that. You know, that was the so that was the scene right there. And then we saw her, you know, breaking down again on stand. So now we're looking at, well, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen to Kim Potter? You know, the jury's got to figure it out. Are they deadlocked? Are they going to be able to figure it out? Is it going to be a hung jury? Where's it going to go? I know that like humanizing an individual in this situation is important, you know, and that's what she's doing. When she's on stand, she's allowing her emotions to carry the human element that she is obviously comprised of. Where does that go? How far does that go? How far does that take us? And the point where we say, yeah, we get it. It was a mistake. That sucks. It was terrible. Terrible. A life was lost. Just like I was telling you what happened to my uncle, you know, a mother, like Dante's mother was on the scene and she said flat out, you know, and I think I have that right here. As a matter of fact, I'll show you that. So these are the people that were directly affected, you know, by this situation. And let me pull that up real quick. And so this is Dante Wright's mother on the scene. Now, something to keep in mind, Dante Wright's girlfriend FaceTimed Dante Wright's mom once that car crashed. I think it was actually during, I don't know when the FaceTime started. They didn't show the FaceTime. But she FaceTimed Dante Wright's mom, so she watched him die, which is terrible. And no mother, like she said, even on the stand, Dante Wright's girlfriend got really emotional and apologized to Dante Wright's mom for showing her that, because she said no mother should ever have to see that. Especially with how abrupt. It wasn't like that she got to the hospital knowing that it happened. She just got a call and all of a sudden, you know, hey, what's up? And then boom, that's what is being seen. Terrible. But so, and this is, so like I said, this is Dante Wright's mother on the scene of the shooting. So let's, let me show you this real quick.
I am Katie Bird, his mom. I want to see you now, please. He's always running.
I don't know what's going on.
I know what's going on.
What happened?
He FaceTime live. Ma'am, I'm going to get you somebody to talk to. I'm going to get you someone to talk to. Okay? But I just can't have you going over there right now, okay?
My name is Mark. What is your name? Can I have you sit on the light show?
You guys shot him. Why?
I don't know. I wasn't here.
Why? Because he had a warrant. Are you fucking serious? I was here. I watched it.
Can you sit down? Because I wasn't here.
No. Where's the girl that was in the car with him? You guys made her hang up Facebook Live so you can kill my son. That's pretty pathetic. What is your name? What is your name? My name is Katie Bryant. My son's name is Dante Wright. You guys already know that. I don't. Katie Bryant. It was a high-speed chase? Bryant? How? And then what's your son's name? Dante Wright. It was not a high-speed chase. You guys shot him in a pullover traffic. I didn't do anything, ma'am. Yeah, you did. He was laying in his front seat dead. His girlfriend Facebooked me. How did his car get smashed? What's his name again? Dante Wright. Right? Is it W-R-I-G-H-T? W-I-G-H-T. Okay. Is it Katie? Yeah. Bryant. Yeah. All right. Just wait a second here, ma'am.
I need you to just sit down, please.
Ma'am.
You sit down. Okay, so I wasn't here. You said there was a traffic stop and they shot
They
him?
pulled him over, and he said, Mom, do you have a warrant? I said, I don't know. They asked him to get out of the car. He got out of the car, and they said, wait, stop. They said stop, and then she goes, and then they shot him, and he fell back in the seat, and he was in the driver's seat, and she said they shot him, and I said, what do you mean they shot him? She said, yeah, and then they told her to hang up, and that was it. I don't know nothing else, so I had to call you guys to find out where this happened.
I really don't know more because I just came because I heard there was trouble.
Why is my car smashed up?
I don't know.
I don't know.
This deputy here wasn't. We weren't here, but
Is he alive? I do not know the condition. I don't Are you guys serious? What are you talking to me for then?
I'm gonna find out.
We're gonna find out, but we have to wait and find out who's involved and who's in charge, and get you in contact with the people that know what's
Tell me
going
the
on.
name so I can tell them who I'm talking to.
I'm gonna start exchanging.
Man. So that's Dante Wright's mother on the scene of the shooting. So, she said, "Where's the girl that was in the car?" So that was Dante Wright's girlfriend that was in the car. Yeah, it's tragic, man. Like, it's terrible to see that, and we'll see. Someone asked what a deadlock jury law and legal definition. So I'll tell you right now, a deadlock jury is a jury that, despite honest attempts, is unable to reach a verdict by the required voting margin. Often, a deadlock jury will lead to a retrial of the case, based off of Kuhn versus United States 518 U.S. 81 in 1996. And I believe one of the attorneys quoted that. A jury unable to come to a final decision resulting in a mistrial. Judges do their best to avoid hung juries, typically sending juries back into deliberations with an assurance, sometimes known as a dynamite charge, that they will be able to reach a decision if they try harder. If a mistrial is declared, the case is tried again unless the parties settle the case. But again, it's not a civil case. This is going to be, it's a criminal case. So you'd have to deal with a plea bargain, which would be, the result of a potential with the hung jury. The girl. That's a good question, Mo. The girl. So she didn't know. Maybe she probably knew, but maybe she was just knew that they wouldn't know the person's name. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, Fed case or local hung jury is a mistrial in Fed. Okay. Yeah. So, they're at, so that's where we're at. So right now the jury is still trying to figure it out. They're deliberating right now and trying to figure out what's going to happen, the fate of Kim Potter. And it could come down to a plea agreement if they can't come to a consensus, and if they're not able to figure out a voting margin, then then we'll see where it goes from there. So Kim Potter, that's where we're at with it. And again, I asked what your all thoughts were, and everyone agrees that she didn't. Pretty unanimously that she didn't mean to shoot Dante Wright, but it doesn't take away from the fact that she did unintentionally shoot Dante Wright. Had she known she pulled her gun, though, this is where it's different. Though, this is where it's interesting, is that had she pulled her gun and shot, if she had said, "I'm going to tase you, I'm going to shoot you. Stop now, or I will shoot you," this case wouldn't be the same case because of the state statute that deadly force would be appropriate if, as he tried to drive away, she shot him. But again, it comes down to, was she negligent in her actions? And, I think it's pretty safe to say, she was, it's gross negligence. You know what I mean? You pulled the wrong weapon and someone died. Now the jury's in for it. The jury's in for, they got the work, just like in the Rittenhouse trial and everything else, man. I think the hardest thing to do in any of these cases would be to be on the jury. You know what I mean? Because they're the ones that, they literally have to hold like the fate of a human being in their hands and just figure it out. So what they're asking for right now is for the gun. They have the gun zip tied in these boxes. So the gun, the tasers, all that stuff is zip tied down so that it won't fall out. They've asked for the zip ties to be cut so they can actually hold the gun in the taser. And I think they're going to go for like a actual real life feel of what that, what that's like. Let me see. I'll reach out right now. I know I've got I got somebody that is a gun expert. I don't know if they're available right now, but maybe they could give us some insight on that right now. Okay. What's next on this? So something to think about in the back of your mind, kind of where things are going to go with the sentencing. Like, what is she going to actually get? And that's a big question. What's going to happen? What's going to happen to Kim Potter? So, so it looks like she's not available at the moment, which is fine. The next thing I want to talk about is where are we at here? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to make sure I get all this down. Like I said, this is more of a Q&A night. I want to make sure that. But the next thing that I want to talk about, and this one's sad. CJ, a few of us want to know what you think, brother. Tony, what do you mean? What I think about it? I don't know, man. My thoughts, Tony, about this are that she made a mistake. That's terrible. It's tragic. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that she did. She knows that. But mistakes have consequences. And someone's life was lost in this one. And there's a high level of a standard of excellence that someone in law enforcement has to hold themselves to. And that being said, I feel like it would be hard pressed for anybody to accept that there would be no consequences for her actions. And people are talking about monetary penalties. And I don't think those actually mean anything to anybody. I mean, you can get sued, you can get hit with fines, you can get hit with whatever you want. It's not going to make much of a difference. A lot of that you're going to write off anyway. You could, defer payments, whatever. They're going to garnish paychecks, whatever. It's more of an uncomfortable situation. It's not so much like running the consequences of your crime. And that's what is that this is a criminal case. It's not a civil case. No one's saying that they, it's not a. So yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised nor feel terrible if she had to do some time. I'm just saying it. I would hope that more than anything that her and the family are able to get to a place where they can have some peace between the two of them. Because I think honestly, that's going to be, that's going to be the big thing right there. That's going to go throughout the course of the rest of everyone's lives, is if those two are going to be able to come to a place where she can talk directly to the family and say, hey, but I don't know, man. I don't know about the time. I don't know. I don't know, honestly. And I mean that. I'm not just saying it to stay on the political fence here or whatever, the marginal line. I really don't know. I don't know what the proper punishment should be for that. But my big hope is that those two are able to find some peace between each other. I hope that mother, that Kim Potter and Daunte Wright's mom are able to find a place where they can find some peace between the two of them. And I think that would be my overall goal. If I was in Kim Potter's place, I mean, would be to hopefully you can put a mother's heart at some kind of resting point where she doesn't have to feel hate and anger every day that she thinks about Daunte Wright, her son, dying. And I was at Daunte Wright's funeral out of Minnesota, in Minneapolis, and there was a lot of people there. There's a lot of people there, and there's a lot of community that talked a lot about Daunte Wright. So I mean, there's a lot of people that are missing him right now. So I hope that they're able to figure that out. Mistakes happen, but she didn't create the circumstances, Zach. Yeah, I know. It's up to the jury. It's up to the jury. They got to figure it out. They got to figure out if she's guilty of it, and then the judge, I believe, is going to have so the jury doesn't choose the sentence. I believe that the way it works out, and I could be wrong in this case, but I think that the way it works, the jury just says whether or not she's guilty of second-degree manslaughter, first-degree manslaughter, whatever the charge that they're deliberating on. The judge at that point then has the opportunity to to put down the sentencing. So it's going to come down to whether or not it's a guilty verdict, and then the judge is going to have that, that point. And that's a tough one for the judge too, man. What up, Robert? How you doing, man? Glad you make it. So mistrial in that situation, then they have to retry it and go through it again. It's terrible. Let's move away from this Kim Potter thing, though. Let's step past that for a second. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is something that the more I looked into it, the sadder it got, man. One of the comments came up here, and I was just talking to my sister last night, and she was talking about last Friday, and this is one of the things that was talked about was, what about the TikTok challenge to go out and shoot schools up? Police were all over the place. We're talking about the Oxford school shooting. And man, one of many, you guys. This is terrible. And you guys everyone knows what's going on here, right? And if you don't, let me pull this up for you so you can kind of see what's happening. Because I definitely want to make sure that you guys know what's going on. But I got to clear out some of this stuff here because I got a lot of Kim Potter stuff pulled up here. Here we go. So this Oxford school shooting here. What's going on with this one is you've got parents right now that are being brought up on charges, and sorry, I just want to make sure you get the right thing, guys. So yeah. So as it works out, trying to slide between stories here can be difficult. So Ethan Crumbley is the kid that the 15-year-old student who's being charged right now with 4 counts of first-degree murder and terrorism. So, I mean, and the terrorism, I believe, is coming in because of the kids that were terrorized by the shooting. But man, this is terrible, man. This is just incredibly sad. Because it goes back into what we're talking about here. So his parents right now are facing involuntary manslaughter charges as well, much like Kim Potter, for allowing their child, this 15-year-old, to have access to a firearm. I'm going to go ahead and read through this with you real quick so everyone knows what's going on. This is a story that came out on the 9th of December. And we'll go ahead and read through it so that you're not having to, listen to me paraphrase anything, but we'll read through it together here. And let me do that real quick here. All right. Boom, bam. So let me plug this in as well. All right. So yeah, the gunman opened fire at Oxford High School in Michigan on November 30th, shooting 11 people. 4 students were killed. Let me do this here so we can see a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. All right. So it says 4 students were killed, and several others were critically and seriously injured. Ethan Crumbley, who's a 15-year-old student, was later arrested in connection with the shooting. The authorities said he was charged the following day with 1 count of terrorism causing death and 4 counts of first-degree murder, which could lead to a life sentence if he's convicted. I believe he's got 26 total charges because he's getting charged with weapons violations for all the people that were shot as well. So he's got many charges that are coming up on him. And so, yeah, any one of those first-degree murder charges is facing a life sentence. Excuse me. On December 3rd, prosecutors took a rare step of filing involuntary manslaughter charges against the parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley, saying that they had bought the semi-automatic handgun that he used to carry out the deadly rampage as a Christmas gift. The deadly gunfire in Oxford in Oakland County, about 30 miles north of Detroit, not California, Oakland County, about 30 miles north of Detroit, added to a growing list of shootings on school grounds in the United States this year after a lull during the coronavirus pandemic when many schools held classes remotely. So, and we're just going to walk through what happened at the school. At 12:51 on November 30th, the authorities received the first of more than 100 911 calls about the shooting. And the suspect emerged from a bathroom and started firing at students in the hallway. The authorities said after viewing security camera footage on the attack, when students at Oxford High School first heard the gunshots, they rushed for cover and used chairs to barricade themselves behind classroom doors. And within 5 minutes, the authorities said 11 people had been shot. You know, we have some video that I'll pull up here, and we'll jump into that a little bit as well. But I want to make sure that we're talking about what's going on here. And we've got that over here. Where we hiding in? What's terrible is, so this kid, this Ethan Crumbley had made motion about the fact that he was planning on doing this and talked about it. And they're saying that one of the issues they've had is, I mean, obviously a huge issue is the fact that you don't have a interactive school situation as much as it has been. Whereas in the majority of the times that they're able to to move away from or to avoid these types of situations is when the suspect makes it known to either a peer or they make it known to someone in the school, you know, one of the teachers or someone in administration, whatever it is, that they've got, you know, something brewing in them and something bad might happen. And it's just terrible that these numbers keep rising and rising. And if you guys remember the Sandy Hook shooting, and that was 20 children were killed and 6 adults, and that was December 14th in 2012. And we keep hearing these things about it. It's the worst one since. It's the worst one since. We go back to Columbine. I mean, to the point where they're making movies about how epically tragic these situations are, that kids are showing up and shooting up schools. You hear a lot about it being because of bullying or lack of acceptance or fitting in. And I'm sure that for every student, there's got to be a million different reasons why people feel a need to, or they feel alienated enough to get to a point where they might show up at a school with a gun. But I mean, it's terrible. It's absolutely horrific that this is a situation that happens within our schools. Yeah, and he was drawing about shooting people, and parents were called same day of shooting. I think the parents were in a meeting a couple hours before the actual shooting, like the day of. And they went on a run, and they were actually found in the basement of a house hiding from the police when they were being looked for. Let's look at some other stuff that came from that, though. And I think this is crazy to me, is that you've got things on the viral aspect of things, like the web, right? Like, so you got TikTok and some of these other social media platforms that are doing crazy stuff. You don't care about Ethan or his parents. Okay, Mo, that's fine. But we're talking about a bigger issue here, which is the fact that you got situations like, here, I'm going to show you this one real quick too. So, let's see if I can show you that somehow. So this one right here says, this message is from Clark Middle School. We have been notified that on December Friday the 17th, last Friday, we were under a threat of school shootings. For more information, go to, and then this is for the Chelsea Public Schools, if you'd like to speak to our staff or info call. That's one of, I'm sure, thousands of messages that were sent out to schools all over the nation, because there was a TikTok challenge, as somebody put in the comments up here, that was saying, it was like national, like, shoot up your school day, that people are almost like it's a joke to say, hey, I dare you to go to school and shoot it up, bring a weapon. And that was one of many. There were so many that I saw in here that were just, that blew me away, that were multiple things that came through. I'll show you this one right here. This one was from an actual student, and again, it's terrifying, man. Let me zoom in on this for you. It says, attention everyone who go to GHS, and that's Granger High School. This is on December 17th. Y'all might take this as a joke, but I'm being serious. I'm so tired of this school and all the teachers who don't care. And I'm so tired of all the bullying. I'm so tired of everything. On December 17th, I will shoot up the school. This is your only warning. Please don't go. Someone just wrote, bro, what? Underneath it. This is from a student. This is a student wrote this. I'm going to shoot up the school. I mean, luckily, it didn't happen. I don't know of any reported shootings that took place last Friday, but I know that like my nieces didn't go to school. My nephew didn't go to school. They stayed home because they felt, they were afraid of what might happen if they went to school. But the fact that this became a TikTok thing and they pulled all that down. I can't even find that. Now, if you guys can find it, feel free to check that out. But they actually had it up where they were saying, hey, it's Friday, shoot up the school day, show up with a weapon, do some work. And it's crazy to me. And I think it comes from something like this one right here. And the threat comes on the heels of a deadly school shooting in Michigan. Authorities say 15-year-old sophomore Ethan Crumbley killing 4 students, wounding 7 other people. Crumbley was charged as an adult. Here's the issue that we're going to see in this one. This is what's interesting to me, is that you've got Ethan Crumbley being charged as an adult at 15 years old, but his parents are being charged for manslaughter for providing a weapon to him. And that I'm confused as to how that works out. How are the parents being involved in the prosecution? If he's being charged as an adult, he should be 100% responsible for his actions. They should lay on his shoulders, right? And I'm not sure how that works out. If they're being, and granted, this just opens door. This is just something that just came in thought. But yeah, I'm wondering, how does that work? But well, this is what people have said here. So it says, parents and educators need to have conversations with their children to remind them that once you press send, the thread of the message can't be put back into the smartphone. Obviously, this is somebody a little bit aged talking about this. Can't be put back into the smart box, said Ken Trump, a school security expert with National School Safety and Security Services. The number one way we find out about weapons, plots, and threats in schools, including those that are credible, is when kids come forward and tell an adult that they trust. Fake threats can have real consequences for students, whether it's a suspension or being charged with a crime. Many school districts say they're increasing patrols for Friday, but classes will continue as scheduled. Now, the big thing that they're talking about there is when they come forward and tell an adult that they trust. We got to make a change in our schools right now. Like, we got to make a change. There needs to be more like peer accountability and like peer response, peer mentorships. Not only that, but I can tell you right now that, and what I've found in the conversations I've had, I'm not cracking on people that are in the school districts, teachers and admin, school counselors that are really putting in the work, that are trying. They're out there, they're busting their ass to do the best they can. I just really feel like the tools that they need in a big way aren't being provided to them. And then we're seeing a lot of the results in that. They need to have someone they can talk to. Kids are going through a lot, man. Kids are going through, it's crazy. If you think about the average life of a high school student, or of any student, really. Now let's talk about it for a second. Statistically, right now in America, the majority of homes are broken. We're well over 65% of homes or marriages are in divorce, which means you have a split household. There are skyrocketing numbers of domestic violence cases and situations where children are being subjected to some type of violence in the home, be it third party or directly. Now that's what they wake up to. They wake up to that home life, right? They have to get themselves geared up, get ready, and then go to school, right? Now they got to deal with social pressures, the pressures of trying to deal with other kids that are dealing with the same home lives, the other craziness on their end. And then trying to find a way to cohesively actually spend their time together. And this isn't just like work. We deal with it at work. You have a bad day at home, right? Got a bad day at work. You go to work. You sit in your cubicle. You sit in your office, whatever. You can have a bad day and be pissed off about it all day. But you don't have to interact with the people around you. You might have someone from accounting or payroll or whatever that comes in and they're like, where's my TPS report? And you're like, screw you, Jerry. I'll get them to you when I get them to you. That's the moment. Kids all day, the entire day, their entire work day, if you will, is comprised of interacting with other kids. That in itself is that it's a fine art, being able to navigate those waters and come out of it without feeling like you want to just scream at the wall at the end of every day. But they have to deal with that. Then they have to deal with the actual scholastic pressures of trying to make sure they get through the day and educate and learn and develop their mental structure so they can get themselves to college. And that's a whole nother thing, right? So now they have to figure college. They've already got this sense of almost foreboding, like, man, college is looming, if that's being encouraged. A lot of times it's not. But if it is, now they get done with school and they have to go to either an extracurricular activity, hopefully to get a scholarship for that scholarship or for the college tuition that they probably can't afford, which is crazy if you look at how expensive colleges are now. So they go and they get this job, or they get to pay for college, or to pay for their, being a kid, going to movies, or whatever, pay for their gas money, or whatever. Or they have to try to compete in some kind of sporting event, make it happen. They do that after work or after school. That's their second job, basically. Then they go home after that and have to deal with that same home life that they woke up to. That being said, now you've got to deal with the pressure of getting ready for the next day of school. So you got your homework. This kid's already done a 7-hour day at school, basically 6-7 hours a day at school. Then they've gone to another couple hours of a sporting event or a job for another 3-4 hours for a part-time job. They're creeping up on 10, 11 hours. Then they have to come home and knock out some more homework so they can get themselves ready for the next day to do that all over again. That's 5 days a week, plus the job that they have to do on the weekends when they have to work those extra hours that they don't get during the week because they're already doing school. And we as grown-ups, I mean, we have a bad day. Yeah, I get that. But let's look at it from their point of view. That POV is a rough one, man. That's a full-time, rigorous schedule. They got a lot of shit on their plate, man. It's a lot to deal with. A lot to deal with. And then at home, they're dealing with that broken home life. They got to deal with that. The pressures of their personal life before they ever take that out into school. They have to deal with that. They have to deal with mom and dad, or mom or dad, and whatever else is happening there, man. That's a lot to carry, man. That's a big load for a kid to have to carry. So we need more mentors, more people that they can trust, more people that can reach out. And I don't have the answer for it all, man. I just know that we need more educational support. And I don't just mean for the actual education aspect, but for the support of our educational sector of our society. Because it's tough, man. It's hard. But so yeah, we're looking at this Ethan Crumbly here. So he goes and he shoots up, the school, and that's terrible, right? I mean, that's kills 4 people, wounds 7 more. 11 people on the list right now for this kid. And now his parents are detained. They're in jail right now, and they're fighting their charges too. They're on the docket as well. Yeah, and there's another one. So this is the which one is this here? Boom, boom, boom. Iverness Middle School, or IMS principal Melissa Baird, sent an announcement to parents informing them a TikTok post was reported to administration on December 14th of last week by 2 students. The TikTok warned of a school shooting at IMS on December 17th. The original post was general and not directed at a specific school. And this is what's crazy about it. Baird wrote 2 students from IMS reposted the thread and added Iverness Middle School to the posts. So they reposted. It became part of like the social, the hype of it all, like which is crazy. So these kids, they see it and then they're like, oh, I'm going to tag my school in this, send it off. And then they tag their school and they tag their school. And it's more than just pulling a fire alarm like it was back in my day. I remember like that was the thing, man. If you wanted to get out of school, you dared to touch that fire alarm, see what happens, man. And they always said like, man, it has a crazy thing going on where like it shoots a chemical on your hand, it'll dye your hands green or whatever. I mean, I never saw any of that, but I never pulled a fire alarm either, so I don't know. But so somebody said, Jackie Cox says that she sent me a message, direct message here. Let's see. Let's see. So I want to make sure I get to the right place. Was that in the on my personal page or on the media page? Just want to make sure we get the right one here. But yeah, I'll pull that up here in a minute. So Tanisha, you kept your kids at home that day. How did you feel about that? Like, did you feel like, does your heart drop as a parent knowing that your kids are having to deal with the thought that somebody might show up at their school and shoot it up? That's crazy to me, man. That's crazy to me. This is a little clip I'm going to show you real fast of the so they were trying to move Ethan Crumbly To the media page. All right, I'll check that out while this clip's on. They were trying to move him from the adult detention center to a juvenile detention center, and the judge shot it down. He was like, "Nah, man. Hey, Nate, thanks for those stars, man. I appreciate you." And Cherish here says, "I'm an educator and I had to work that day." Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, the last time I can remember something like this was after 9/11, and the thought of going to work. I worked at a restaurant at the time, and it was in a really popular part of downtown Seattle, in this like kind of like a shopping center area type thing, pretty high end place. And I was nervous. I didn't go to work. Like I took a couple days off work. I was like, I'm not coming in. I don't know what else can happen because you don't know. You don't know that how far it's going to go. If it's a threat that's credible, if it's not credible, what's going to happen with it. But you know, and there was not nearly the social presence that you see here. Right? We're talking back in MySpace days. But still, if that was even a thing back in 01, I don't remember if that was, but either way. So this is a little bit of information about this Ethan Crumbly kid. And let me check this out real quick. I'm going to try to pull up that TikTok, the actual one. Yeah, and in the comments, I'm curious, how many people kept their kids home from school last Friday? You know, just a thumbs up if you did, or, you know, thumbs down if you didn't. Something like that. So maybe that's not screen. What do you want to do is share the screen.
Going to slow down proceedings for Ethan Crumbly, at least in the beginning. Just this morning, the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office got new evidence, 340 items on a hard drive that the defense attorneys have not had a chance to look at yet. So today's hearing will actually get pushed back to January 7th. But interesting, in court today, some things did get hashed out. They were talking quite a bit about whether or not Ethan Crumbly would remain here inside the Oakland County Jail.
If I have to look out for what his best interest, it's not being at the jail. I believe his needs can be met at the village.
That's Children's Village, a juvenile facility in Pontiac that a court-appointed guardian ad litem for Ethan Crumbly argued he should be sent back to Monday in court.
I'm not being humorous when I say this, but he could still at least be in school. I mean, there are things, he is still 15 years of age.
Crumbly held in a small cinder block cell inside of a clinic at the Oakland County Jail, away from adult inmates, with checks by corrections officers every 15 minutes, access to only food and mental health care. He didn't know his parents, James and Jennifer Crumbly, were all under the same roof.
I was the one to actually tell him that his parents were in custody at the same jail and that they were charged. He doesn't have access to a television or any type of media device. So he was not aware until I told him.
Paulette Michelle Lofton is Crumbly's court-appointed attorney.
And I really can't say what he's voiced to me because of the attorney-client privilege, but I am sure a 15-year-old who's never been in trouble before is probably a little bit fearful for his current surroundings.
Oakland County Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Mark Keast adamantly against returning Crumbly to Children's Village, citing an imminent danger to other kids there.
I can't imagine a situation where we could put this defendant in a school environment after what he did on November the 30th.
Right, what he said
Judge
is solid
Nancy
point.
Karniak
right
doubled down
right.
on her earlier decision. He'll stay put at the Oakland County Jail.
Again, do you understand and agree to that?
Yes, ma'am.
All of the Crumblies, Ethan, James, and Jennifer, all here at the Oakland County Jail. Now, tomorrow, Ethan Crumbly's parents will be in court. They'll be bussed here from the jail to Rochester Hills to have their day in court. It will be in person. Now, today, earlier, we asked Ethan Crumbly's attorney about the two cases, how it's all logistically working in terms of attorneys working together or not working together. We'll get more into that coming up later at 6. For now, live in Pontiac, Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
Well, Jessica, with Ethan Crumbly and his parents under the same roof of the same jail facility, do we know, are they being kept away from each other at all? Is there a chance that they could see each other? What is the situation there?
absolutely separate. Even when his parents were brought here, they were brought here in 2 separate vehicles. Everyone is completely segregated, and specifically Ethan Crumbley is housed in a clinic, the medical clinic, away from everybody.
See, that's
he
where
didn't
they're going
say
to
in
come in.
court, or at least he's telling his attorney, that he can hear some of the adult inmates, which is against the court recommendation. So they're going to try to fix that up. So it's possible he could be moved, but no chance that any of them will see each other.
Some very interesting circumstances there.
Okay, but now let's get right down to brass tacks here. I mean, this kid premeditated, planned, and then executed 4 people. It may not have been the 4 that he had planned on killing, but he killed 4 people and shot 7 more. Like, at some point, the juvenile thing, I don't know, man. As I'm watching this, I'm actually it's getting the feels going. You know, it makes me think about what at what point does your mindset, like you're saying, Jackie Cox, at what point does your mind get to that place where it's deemed as hardened enough that you're looked at as an adult, like when you're making those adult decisions? You know what I mean? And this is going to segue into what we're going to talk about here as well, as Kyle Rittenhouse. You know, he was only 2 years older than this kid, and he's being revered as a hero. And granted, please follow me. I am in no way saying that this kid who shot up a school is anything like what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm talking about their age and being an adult. And it's scary, man. It's scary. But you wonder about the parents there. You know what I mean? How involved? And did they actually give this kid a gun for his birthday or Christmas present? Like, was that legitimate? Did that happen? These are things that will come out in the case. But man, yeah, I know, right? I said Kyle Rittenhouse immediately. People are going to freak out. But take it easy, guys. I made it very clear. I'm not comparing this kid to Kyle Rittenhouse as to the involvement of their guns and shooting. I'm saying that as per their age and where they're at. You know what I mean? But you look back, man, we're creeping up. Like I said, Sandy Hook, man, December 14th, 2012. You know, that was 20 students. You know, here, I'll pull this up for you guys. This blows my mind. And you don't remember, so just to put things into contrast, and into full perspective here, rather. Things got worse, and they got worse, and they got worse, and they got worse. You know what I mean? And things like this keep getting where, man. And the reason I say that is because, like, it just makes me realize, like, how much we got to make. We got to do something. We got to change it. You know what I mean, we got to find a way to change this and reduce this kind of crazy violence that we're seeing in the world that we live in, man. But so this was Sandy Hook. You know, this was a school. Okay, Nicola, you get what I'm saying. And yeah, so let's pull that up. And there we go. Sorry, this always takes a little bit of time. I'm not a production studio, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better. So here we go. Let's do this. And boom. And
ago, people vowed never again. After 20 children.
I'll start this over.
In Newtown, Connecticut, where 9 years ago people vowed never again. After 20 children and 6 adults were killed at Sandy Hook Elementary.
You're supposed to come to these towns to be safe. That's why we moved here.
School was remote today because it's happened again and again and again. The most recent deadly school shooting last month at Michigan's Oxford High School, killing 4 students, sparking threats of violence across the country and in Connecticut.
What do these spikes in school violence tell us about the mental health of our children?
That it's not good, and that they have needs that aren't being met, and we need to rise to the occasion and meet those needs.
In Newtown, 154 rounds were fired in less than 5 minutes, killing 6 and 7-year-olds. Bills banning assault weapons and expanding background checks for online and private gun show sales were defeated in the U.S. Senate, acknowledged by President Biden in a video today.
I was so darn frustrated, and it's still frustrating now for you and me and so many others.
Today, the parents of the accused Oxford school shooter appeared in court for a probable cause hearing. They are charged with involuntary manslaughter for allegedly allowing their 15-year-old son access to the gun he used to kill his classmates. They have pleaded not guilty. There have been 31 school shootings this year with injuries or deaths,
31
the
school
most in a
shootings.
year. Newtown's legacy still haunting America. Ann Thompson, NBC News.
That right there, that alone, like 31 school shootings this year. 31. That's insane, man. Roger Stone, yeah. It blows my mind, man. Yeah, right, Robert. That's what I'm saying. Like 31. We don't hear about all of them, right? We don't hear about all those. You know, we have some statistics I can pull up here for you guys here. And this is, let me see if I can get the right one here, but so right now the number 34 school shootings with injuries or deaths. 68 people were killed or injured in school shootings. So to break that number down, 14 people have been killed in school shootings this last year. 54 people were injured. 11 students or other children and 3 school employees or other adults were killed. So 11 students were killed. Three employees or other adults were killed. 54 people injured. 14 people in total killed, which is a total of 68 people killed or injured in school shootings out of the 34 that have happened this year. That blows my mind. That should, I mean, that to me is like the, I mean, how many of these do we hear about? You know what I mean? How many of these actual shootings do we hear about? And not many, not many. Until the next worst one, you know what I mean? And yeah, that's one every other week, basically. We got 52 weeks in a year, man. That's but now you've got these parents that are on trial, right? These parents are going to be looking at some charges. And man, that's, I mean, they're going to, who knows what'll happen with that? Who knows what'll happen with that? But so, right. So something to keep in mind. So the school shootings right now, like I said, there have been 34 this year, 24 of them since August 1st, which is crazy. Of course, Oxford, Michigan, where 3 were killed. That's the deadliest school shooting since May of 2018. Check this out. There have been 92 school shootings since 2018. Since May of 2018, 92 school shootings. Man, but they're saying that the pandemic interrupted the trend line. But with 10 shootings, was significantly lower than 2019 and 2018, which had 24. That's crazy to me. But again, there's been that fall off because of the remote learning. But it says here, but those using this data should know that this should not be interpreted to mean that the schools were safer. Rather, the definition of school safety has shifted as schooling entered the home in a way it never had before. And this is something else to keep in mind: is the amount of shootings that took place outside of school. While the number in school might have dropped, obviously because of the remote learning, the number of shootings outside is still risen. So referrals. So here's the parallel: referrals to child protective service agencies fell in 2020, but that doesn't mean that fewer children were being hurt. It reflects that schools are a main locus for reporting potential abuse. So it's a resource center for children, really, and its grander, like, sub bearing is that it's a place where kids can go to be heard, where they're not having, their family kind of manage their output. They can be there themselves and talk about things that might be happening in the home. Now, we don't know that despite our 2020 school shooting figure, some students and staff were potentially more at risk of gun violence during the pandemic. Tracking off-campus shootings was beyond the scope of the project, so we don't know that. But when I looked into it a little bit further, in the areas, a lot of obviously inner city, there was a rise in shootings during the pandemic, which is wild. And those things could have been transferred just into the school. But yeah, that's crazy. 34 school shootings with injuries or deaths, and 68 people injured or killed. 14 people killed and 54 injured. That's insane, man. That's insane. And then just recently, on December 14th, there was a 17-year-old boy who was shot and killed in a school parking lot just after a basketball game in Newport. Man, I can pull this up for you here, actually, so you can take a look at where these shootings are taking place and a little bit of the breakdown, like in the backtrack. So let's take a look at this real quick, because this, I think, it's interesting. I think it's important that we know, like, kind of what's going on. Oh yeah, Robert, Merry Christmas to you, man. Appreciate you. Where are we at here? Share the screen. Not the most cheery conversation, I know, guys. So I know there's a lot of other stuff happening right now. Like my Seahawks are playing, but this is important, and I feel like it's something that I would like to talk about. So I'm glad that you're able to be here with me while we talk about it. So hold this up here and see if I can make that a little bigger for you guys. Oh, that's a total wrong direction. But you're at it. What did I do, guys? What did I do? There we go. So this is from Education Week. So here's some of the numbers, like I said, that we're pulling from. And let me go ahead and give this a little bit of a for you guys. Leave that there. All right, cool. Hopefully that's good for you. There we go. But down here. So, I mean, it'll tell you a little bit. So this is Oxford, most recent one. But some of the, over here on the East Coast, actually, we'll run down this a little bit. This is the these are like the shootings as it goes backwards. So on the 14th of December, an 18-year-old shot the 17-year-old at the basketball game. On the 8th of December, 2 teens were shot and injured in a school parking lot during a high school basketball game. On the 6th, a 12-year-old boy was killed and his stepmother was wounded. A 9-year-old girl was on the school playground taking part in an after-school program, was also struck by gunfire. Humboldt, Tennessee, on the 30th of November. Oxford on the 30th of November, 29th of November. And you look at the age over here on the right, you guys, 18, 15, 15, 16, 16, 16, 17. These are the suspect's age. These numbers here. This is one of 4 pages, man. I mean, the list keeps going and going and going and going and going, man. That's just anyway, but you guys can take a look at that if you want. It's the EDW. I'll try to put the link up in the follow-up here. It's Education Week. Scary stuff, man. Very scary stuff. I wasn't really exactly sure how far I wanted to go into the school shooting. Just something to talk about, man. Like, and how are we feeling, man? As parents at home, are you feeling like your children are safe right now at school? How is it? I mean, what's the change? What do we need to do? Candy, cigarettes, and cap guns. Zach, are you talking about how it was back in the day when we were kids, huh? Because that was the thing. I remember candy cigarettes. You remember that? I remember those. You could blow through them and blue like candy powder. You know what I mean? Like confection sugar or whatever. And it would look like smoke because it was cool to do. But in this one, parents are on trial. Maybe that's something that'll happen a lot more. I mean, maybe parents are going to be looked at and scrutinized over a bit more with this most recent shooting because of that. Maybe that'll force parents. Maybe this case will help in a way. Maybe these parents now will look at it and say, "Hey, I need to spend more time talking to my kids. I need to spend a little more time maybe asking questions." I don't know. There's a lot of work being a parent. There's a lot of work being a teacher. There's a lot of work being involved. Kids, man. Kids are a lot of work, man. But you're right. So Patricia Brown says, this is sad to me. When I was in high school, granted, it was long ago, boys used to come to school with their guns mounted inside their pickup trucks for hunting, of course, and nobody batted an eye. Quit glorifying guns to children. I mean, it is crazy. Kristen, how do you feel? She says, I feel safer with my son in private school, but sadly, not everyone has that option. This is true. No, the jury's not done yet, in Kim Potter. So, man, but you're right. It's, what do? You know what I mean? Like, you got to put faith in the public school system, or if you're lucky enough to have a private school system. Is this something that happens in other schools? Linda Lou says, no, this is a U.S. problem. But I'm curious, what's the rate of school shootings in other countries? Let's ask. Let's find out. Let's Google that up here. Let me see. School shootings in Europe. Let's say that. Other countries. Let's do this here. Boom. Okay, Pat. This is school shootings by country in 2021. So it says here that Australia, since 1991, has experienced 6 school shootings. Brazil has had 5 school shootings since 2001. Canada has had a total of 19 school shootings between 1884 and 2016. Between 1999 and 2011, China had 4 school shootings, resulting in 4 deaths, 2 of which were the perpetrators. European countries have had their share of school shootings, although not as frequently as the United States or Canada. So Germany, 8 shootings since 1913. Lithuania, 1 since 1925. Sweden had 1 in 1961. United Kingdom had 3 since 1967, and none after the 96 massacre. Finland, 3 since 1989. I mean, the ones and twos and threes, all the way down to like France had 2, 1 in 2012 and 1 in 2017. Spain had 1 in 2015. Russia has had 3 since 2014. Poland had 1 in 2019 with no deaths. Honduras, gun violence in Central American countries is extremely common. However, the homicide rate is 10 times the global average because that heavily armed gangs in Honduras and school shootings are pretty common there. But again, we're looking at it because we're tracking the amount of guns that are available, the amount of guns. I'm not saying that you want to limit. This isn't about the Second Amendment to me. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about guns and children. Mexico had 17 shootings since 2004, resulting in 0 to 2 deaths each. South Africa experienced 5 shootings since 1994, resulting in 8 deaths total. I mean, the list goes on and on. But you got places like Argentina had 1, New Zealand 1, Nigeria 1, Kenya 1, India 1, Lebanon 1, Thailand 1, Philippines 1, Yemen 1, Israel 2, Taiwan 1, Pakistan 1 in 2014. I mean, man, that's crazy to me. So when we're looking at school shootings as it pertains to foreign countries, wow, that's crazy. We had this last year 34 in 1 year, 34 school shootings. I don't want to hit that number again. 34 school shootings, 14 people killed, 54 injured, 11 students have died, and 3 employees or other adults were injured or killed in 2021. In 2021, in the United States, we got countries that have one school. What's the difference? What do we got to do different? What do we have to do different? Robert Alton, that's the question. So what's up with our children in America that's different from other countries? I want to hear. This is what this conversation about tonight is. I want to know your thoughts on things. So Lizzie Altwood says it's parenting and mental health. And that's something that we looked into. And, it was out in Kenosha, actually. I had a chance to sit down with Mending Minds Behavioral Health Services. And they were great. They were really amazing. And we're talking about neurological deficiencies in special interest children, but just children in general need a place for respite, a place where they can go to feel safe, a place where they can feel that they can decompress. And it says not squeeze 4,000 kids in one school. That is crazy. The number of students we have in each school blows my mind. I'm curious. What's the average number of students in a high school? Average number. Let's find out real fast. This is the beauty part about this. Number of students in a high school. Here we go. Boom. What's the rare? The average American high school has about 850 to 1,000 students. It's twice the ideal, but half of the stereotypical suburban high school, which has, looks like 2,000. So, man, the average number of students in a school, let's find out. Oh, see, that goes back to 2018. We can't even go off that one. Average public school size, primary, middle school, high school. So yeah, the average high school, you get like, I mean, and these are the smaller schools, but like a quad A school and the 5A schools, there's thousands, yeah, a couple thousand kids there. That's a big number. It's a very big number. Mike Weldon says it involves dads not participating due to the divorce rates and single parenting. Yeah. So Jackie says that there's about 400 people in their high school. So you're looking at about, 200 per class, right? Or about 125 per class. That's a lot smaller than my school. I mean, I had a pretty small school. My high school, we only had sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So this Ethan Crumbly kid would have been just in there. He'd have been a sophomore at 15 to 18, right? So you got your span there, 15, 16, 17, 18, how it works, 14, 15, those range. But we had, I want to say like a 250. So we were creeping up on 800 to 1,000 students just in those three grades. And we were a 3A school. We weren't a quad A. So Samola has 40 girls stolen from a school in Afghanistan. The girls weren't allowed to go to school. Oh man, yeah, we're talking about some crazy stuff over there. Yeah, 1,000. Lizzie says there's 1,000 kids in that school. Oh man, we're talking. Yeah, some people are talking about. I mean, we're going a bit further, but we're talking about open borders and things of that nature. That's not even in cities. Yeah, no, in city you're gonna have a lot more. In this small town high school, Wanda Freeman says 1,563 in this small town high school. That's a lot of people. It's a lot of kids jammed into one place, man. It's a lot of kids. It's a lot of kids. Let's look back over here where we were at. But yeah. Now we're going to talk about. That segues actually perfectly here because, like I said, I don't want to be on all night tonight. I just want to give you guys a chit chat and kind of see where people are at about public figures. These kids here in the Oxfords, this kid Ethan Crumbly real fast. Just want to touch on that as we walk away from this one. 15-year-old kid. He's a sophomore in high school. He's got a journal. He talks about it. He draws pictures of it. He's fantasized, if you will, the thought of shooting up a school, shooting his school, not a school, his school specifically. Both parents right now are being charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. They both pled not guilty. So they're getting charged with involuntary manslaughter for each student that died. The question that came up was, if the parents are being charged, should Ethan be charged as an adult? What are your thoughts on that? I'm curious, actually. What do you guys feel about that? If this guy's parents, this 15-year-old kid, his parents are being charged for involuntary manslaughter, should he be charged as an adult? So legal search and seizure at schools. So Retha says yes. And these are the charges that he's facing right now. Lizzie Outwood says no. Okay. Charges he's facing right now: 1 count of terrorism causing death, 7 counts of assault with intent to murder, 12 counts of possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony, and 4 counts of first-degree murder. Accessories to the crime. Yes. Zach says they played a role. Yes. Jackie says, I don't think so. You don't think he should be tried as an adult? I mean, sorry. We watched Cops and Robbers and Westerns, but we were disciplined and had a loving mom and dad together. Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching old, country Westerns too, like right when they were coming into color. I used to love those old, Clint Eastwood, like classic, back in the days. But So Georgiana Wilcox says yes. Wanda Freeman says yes, need to be charged as an adult. And Aretha Bell said he is totally guilty. I mean, he's obviously he's guilty no matter what. This kid, no matter what, is guilty. I mean, he planned and followed through on basically a terrorist attack, you know. He showed up at a school and shot it up and killed 4 people. I mean, Lizzie says he needs mental health, though, not life behind bars. Where do kids go for this? You know what I mean? Like, anyone in the school system right now that's in here, I'm curious. What type of counseling programs do they have for any of the parents that are in here? At your school specifically, what kind of counseling programs are available to your children that you know of? And is it something that you talk to them about at home? Do you encourage them to talk to the school counselors? Do you encourage them to talk to like whoever that might be, the liaisons or peer mediators, whoever it might be? I'm curious because it's not something that I remember being very readily available when I was in school. It was my high school was more or less just don't make a scene and get out of here. Like don't screw up, don't make us look bad, and then get the hell out of here because we want to move on to the next one. There were a handful of people in that school though, like Craig Smith, and anybody that knows me knows him. Was an amazing human. There were some teachers like that, Coach Canton, amazing guys that were involved, teachers that were really cared, and they actually took the time. You know what I mean? And then so Deborah says none, only guidance counselors, and they're not therapeutic. Yeah, guidance counselors are just meant to help you get your class schedule set up so you know how to get dialed in for college applications, things of that nature. Guidance counselors, Robert Alden says, yeah. Yeah, Patricia says in your day you can even swear on TV. None. For the 1,000 kids, we have one counselor. One counselor. That terrifies me that we have one person for 1,000 students to help them navigate the waters of what they're going through. Private school here has a good counselor, divorced, and she saw her twice a week at 7 years old. Okay. So that's nice. So you're saying that your daughter was able to see this counselor in school twice a week, which is, I mean, that's fantastic. Instead of having to come home, then go see a counselor with mom and dad, give them that option. You know, I think that's something that maybe should be looked at and brought into the schools is there's an opportunity for kids to see counseling while at school. You know, they have study hall. I mean, we got to help build these little minds and help nurture that, you know, those little souls and get them going the right direction, keep them on the right path, you know, keep feeding them the right, you know, healthy mental food, you know, and emotional food. Tanisha says, my son is 7. I'm not aware of anything at his school, but maybe it's there. Outside of school, there is a waiting list for kids under 8. What's crazy is that you're not aware. You know what I mean? Like, Tanisha, what do you think that they would want to tell you? Like, that should be something. Maybe this will be a change. And that's something I try to look at with all these cases. Anytime these come up, and I think that's what makes us a little different here on our channel, is that it's not just about what happened. It's what we're going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again in situations like this that are tragic. Like, what can we do to make a change collectively? So what I would ask, here's my ask of all of you, all you parents out here that have kids in school, reach out to your schools this next week. When they get back from winter break, whenever they come back, reach out, make a call, and ask them. And reach back to me and let me know, because I really would like to know what counseling options are available. Are there any therapy-based counselors available for students? And if there's not, maybe we could collectively work on that. Let's maybe collectively, nationwide here, with all of us here, we can find a way to go ahead and push for that to be something that's more readily available. Billy, I see what you're saying there, and I'll check it out, man. The school stabbings. Counselor said her parents were dummy. Counselors will say some stuff, man. But that could have been the interpretation that she gave you of what the counselor said. Like, well, even my counselor said you're dumb, so whatever. I don't know, but let's. Jits. Man, that scared me. Buddy, come here. Come here. I think the delivery man tagged the door. You safe? You good? You okay? Sputter out, bud. Hey, come here. Good job. Come here. Good job. Good job. You're good. Okay, you just want to stretch out. All right. There you. This guy back here. Little furry protector down here. You good? Over here. Come here. Come here. What's up, bud? Over here, buddy. There he is. There he is. Anyway, yeah, little Jitsi boy. Yeah, he's letting me know. He's like, Dad, I don't like this conversation, apparently. But that's my dude. Yeah, the angry Ewok. You got that right. You got that right, Sarah. That's exactly what he is, the angry Ewok. It's cute. He's a cute little fellow, though. But that's what I'm asking from everybody. Take a moment, reach out to your schools. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to reach out to the local school districts here and find out what's available to the students. And, you know, if there's an opportunity for us to do something here to collectively make a change, let's do it together, you know. And that's the beauty part about our community here, guys, is that this is something I know you do. So, let's see. He's not hasn't I've already saved the video to listen to all work. Twilight, thank you so much, man. Yeah, definitely. So, moving into it, right? So, there's where we can try to focus our effort, is trying to see what we can do better, right? And now, one of the things that's come up is to step right into the next phase of this convo, Kyle Rittenhouse. And the reason I say that name in conjunction with what we're talking about here is because we're talking about role models, right? We're talking about people that kids can look up to. I mean, that's another kid. There's, you know, a 17-year-old, and right now is being hailed as a rock star hero, you know. And it's wild, man. Like, I'm looking up all these different things, and yeah, so Amber Walsh, you watched it on AmFest last night. I haven't been able to find the actual footage of that. For whatever reason, I looked and looked, and this America Fest. It's a turning point. It's been dubbed as a right-wing, you know, celebration of freedom, if you will. Kyle Rittenhouse was brought on, and if you see this kid, man, and I've been asked. So we're working on a documentary right now. And with the crew, one of the producers asked, like, what are my thoughts on Kyle Rittenhouse? And I've said it so many times. I don't have any thoughts about Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't see him as a hero. I don't see him as the villain. I just see him as someone in the situation that he was in, and what happened, right? People personalize, and I've been saying this, and you guys know this all too often. They made him this icon, right? This you know, this ambassador of, like, you know, our gun freedom, or of, you know, of safety and defense. Beyond all of that, you know, he's in lawsuits with, like, LeBron James for defamation, like $110 million. He's, you know, he's gone on these podcasts, and he's, like, popping off, talking trash to, like, DA Binger. He's like, hey, I was playing, you know, he says, I played Call of Duty every fucking night of the case, like, kind of like, ha, rubbing in his face type thing. And the thing that I keep seeing here is what I told this production crew, same thing. This kid, Kyle Rittenhouse, just got his life back. He was sitting in the balance of doing the rest of his life in prison. Like, he was cooked. And now he's like the cock in the walk. He's got this strut about him, like, yeah, what's up now type thing. Like, come at me, I'm untouchable. And it blows my mind, man. Like, because the first thing I said was, I hope that he finds a way, just like I said about Kim Potter and Daunte Wright's mother, he finds a way to make some peace with the people that were affected that night. 2 people died, and a third person almost died. I would hope that his focus is finding a way to make peace there. And it might not happen right away, but I can tell you right now, I had to go through this process. In my sobriety, I had to go through a point where I had to go through and make my amends with people that I had hurt in my past. And I put a lot of effort into that. And I work really hard to build relationships based out of that, with the love and transparency, and that opportunity to really, you know, resonate with another human being. You are in a situation, Kyle, if you're listening, you're in a situation. You have the entire world. The entire world knows your name. You became an icon for America in some way, shape, or form. Be you the hunter of people of color, or the ambassador of freedom and Second Amendment rights. You became an icon for America. And within America, you're being platformed. And I'm going to show you some of this stuff, man. And it blows my mind, because you're watching this chance to make some real change, to be a voice. his handlers, these guys that are working with him, have a chance to help advocate for change. Like I said with the school shootings, what can we do to make sure it doesn't happen again? What can we do as a Kyle Rittenhouse to make sure that the events that took place in Kenosha don't happen again? You have a chance to talk into it. Even if they're not your words, man, you can pick what you choose to regurgitate. People are going to be programming you. They're going to be telling you what to say and how to say it. Stop, shut up, and think, man. Like, think about where you're at in life, Kyle Rittenhouse. Think about who you are right now in life, Kyle Rittenhouse. The entire world is looking at you. You're meeting Donald Trump. You're meeting like all of these major players in every political corner. You're a pawn, man. You're being pawned out as a political toy. Like, this is how you see like child actors that they go into celebrity rehab at an early age because they get burnt out and used up by the Hollywood industry. This kid's being used as almost like an action figure. Like, yeah, look at what we got. We got our Kyle Rittenhouse action figure. Look at what he's saying for us and what he's doing for us. Until he's not the spotlight anymore, then they're not going to give two shits about him. But what impact did he make? And in his personal life, he's going to have to sit down and think about that. What impact did he make? Well, no matter what, man, if the tears that people want to talk about were legitimate tears, if they're legitimate tears, man, those are going to be with you. Like, those tears you cried were because of the reality that you were accepting at that point when it all came into focus. Like, you almost lost your entire life. Two people did. Third person was it. That shit affects me still to this day. Going through this documentary and rewatching all the footage from that night of the shootings, it like legit have had some serious emotional effects for me. Just the amount of blood and carnage that I had my hands on. This kid's going to have to deal with that the rest of his life. That's not going to go away. But you have a chance right now to talk into some real points. You have an opportunity now to make some real legitimate traction towards change because everyone's listening. And you're an advocate for a younger generation. You're demographically, you're like the forefront of this whole new group of thought. And you can do something with it. You could do something amazing with it, man. You could be the voice that, in all fairness, tells these other kids like Ethan Crumbly here, hey, man, don't pick up the gun. Don't go to school. I know things are crazy right now in the world, but hey, there's people out here you can talk to. Be that advocate, man. Be that person. And I didn't realize how emotionally I was going to be charged with this, but man, it fires me up that this kid is on major platform scales. And it's almost comical to him. I had no feelings about him before, and right now I'm just not feeling very good about him, honestly, man. $110 million lawsuit for defamation of character because LeBron James said something about him crying fake tears or whatever, man. $110 million. You know how much trash people talk about me? I would love to get a $110 million lawsuit from anybody. I would love to be on a radar with people that actually care enough to even say your name, man. But that's the thing. People are saying your name at a high level, man. At a high level. You met right off the bat. You're in pictures with Donald Trump. I mean, you got LeBron James, like the GOAT, tweeting about you. Like, I'm going to show you guys this real quick. He's got a new Instagram page. I'm going to pull that up. We're going to take a look at that as well. Do something, man. Do something. Be that voice, bro. Be that voice that helps focus people back on something positive, man. Because remember that the platform that you're walking on, that stage, that tower of power that you're sitting on right now, came at the barrel of a gun, bro. 2 people died. I mean, I know a lot of my friends that have fought in foreign wars that have lost parts of their body to foreign war combat, like gone to other countries and come back with less of their body in the defense of democracy, freedom. And I don't care really right now at this moment about what your political views are about the military and their involvement in international affairs. But no one's throwing parades like that. They're not being brought onto political platforms and being talked to about being the hero of it all. But they're coming back and having to figure out their PTSD and whatnot. I have a buddy who's missing most of his leg, another buddy who's missing, sadly enough, part of his face and his right arm, most of his right arm. That's the rest of their life, man. And those are people that are out there putting in the work. These are my thoughts too, you guys. These are my personal thoughts. right? I'm not saying this is how the world sees Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm not saying this is how the world sees the military. I'm just saying that any chance you get for people to look, even right now, like I said, this last couple months, we've reached over 2 million people, right? This will be heard by enough people to say, like, hey, say something worth hearing, man, which is why I try to pride myself on doing things different. Being better, you know what I mean? Like not allowing your counterparts to set the standard for how you operate. And that's how we should all look at it. Don't let the people around you, your peer group, the peripherals in your life, set the standard for your status quo. That should not be it. That should be, if anything else, your jumping point. Always try to be a trendsetter. Set the bar higher. Set an example and lead. And it's going to be uncomfortable. And it's going to be lonely at times. But when you get out in front there, man, you know you're making an impact and a difference because you're doing it different. Because right now, 34 shootings in 1 year. That shouldn't be the norm. You know what I mean? We shouldn't be sitting down. We shouldn't be sitting down and looking at people like, you know, at the ends of riots, the end of deaths and mayhem and madness. We can change it, you know, but individually we have to step up and we need to step up and allow ourselves to be that person, you know. And right now, whether or not he chose to or wanted it, Kyle Rittenhouse, you know, he's sitting on top of the world, if you will, man. But he just was on this Turning Point USA. I'm going to get off that deal and just we're going to talk about what I'm talking about here. This is interesting. So this was something that somebody confronted Kyle Rittenhouse about something, about his support of BLM. I don't even know what this is, but apparently this person got wrapped up and removed from the conference. This is a quick 45-second clip here. So 1 second, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Then we're going to talk a little more about that. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. And I haven't seen this yet. But
Excuse me,
100,000 people.
Mr. Rittenhouse, can you tell me why you support BLM? Yeah, how's it going, man? I'm not threat. Hey, Mr. Rittenhouse, can you tell me why you support BLM? Yeah, he said he does. Mr. Rittenhouse, you said you support. I'm not. Why are you pushing me? I'm allowed to be here. I'm not. I'm allowed to be here. I'm allowed to be here. Hey, Mr. Rittenhouse, why do you support BLM? You were pushing me, bro.
Hey, we're revoking that.
Okay.
That means you're a criminal trespass from the property.
Okay. You need to give me time to leave before you.
You need to speak. Where do you need
Hey,
him?
I could leave.
Where do you need him? He's been revoked. We're a criminal trespass removed.
I just had it removed to give me the opportunity to leave. I will be.
Dang, they criminally trespassed him for asking him. Like he's not even allowed to. This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is crazy to me. That even in that situation, someone asked him a question, and the handlers, like the crowd around him, they've got him so insulated. He's not even allowed to talk to that point about what he said when he was like, "Yeah, I support BLM." When he was talking about, it just blows my mind, man. This blows my mind. This kid is gonna be. I mean, his bodyguards obviously are on point. You know, they're solid. They're in there. But the fact that there's a security team around him that's not even allowing him to speak, like in that, I mean, the guy had press credentials. You know what I mean? Why would he not be allowed to ask a question? And why is he not allowed to answer it? And here's the quick answer, maybe not the entirety, it's because he doesn't have an answer. Because he doesn't know. He's an 18-year-old kid who doesn't have an answer. He doesn't have answers to all these things. But right now, he's being thrown on a stage, and I'm going to pull that up to speak in front of thousands of people. That video had 100,000 views. You know how many millions and millions of views people have seen with this this AmFest, this America Fest, this Freedom Rally? Like the coaching that this kid has, right? Program him to say something productive. Program him to do something that's going to make some real change. Let him be the advocate for the other generation. Not us, not our generation, for his generation and the ones behind him. Because I think right now what's happened is like we've allowed ourselves to associate Kyle Rittenhouse as being for those that made him the hero, they were like, he's our hero. As a grown-ass individual. Like, why is that kid your hero? Let him be the hero if he's going to be a hero for his generation and for kids, teenagers. And let's make sure it's for the right reason, right? Let's make sure it's for a good cause. Let him be celebrated for something positive, something that's going to help his demographic, his peer group, other people in the teenage world see it differently. So, but they are, man. Amber, you said it right. They're afraid he's going to say something stupid. God forbid this kid have his own thoughts. God forbid this kid go through his own process of letting it out and be 100% authentic. And I'm curious, man. That's what I think people connect to, authenticity, right? You don't want to hear the regurgitated words of some handler who's going to say, here's what we're going to talk about. These are your talk points. This is what you do say. This is what you don't say. Here's the triggers. You're not going to speak about that. I'm going to tug on your sleeve if it starts going the wrong direction. I mean, come on, man. Come on. I know he's not going to have a lot of time where he's not Kyle Rittenhouse. You know what I mean? Ellen, I hope he does. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that he's a garbage human being that's going to do nothing in the world. I'm saying I hope that he really steps up, because this is still very fresh. I hope he takes the charge of being an icon and does something amazing with it. I hope that he doesn't turn it into his 15 minutes of fame and then fade away, because this is maybe it is that I'm feeling now my emotional attachment to it. Maybe right now is the most I've felt emotionally attached to Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah, honestly, that's what it is. In this moment, I can tell you right now, this is the most I've emotionally felt connected to Kyle Rittenhouse. Through the whole case, through meeting him in the streets of Kenosha, this is the most connected I've felt to Kyle Rittenhouse emotionally. And I can tell you why. Just like I keep saying, he has an opportunity to do something amazing. And I haven't seen it yet. But I'm hoping. I'm hopeful. And now I'm emotionally invested. I have hope in this now, which is something I didn't even have invested in the case. I have hope that he'll step up, that he'll be somebody that we can look back at and say, man, all right, good job, man. Good job. Well done. Maybe make it I don't know, man. Me personally, I see it different. Maybe how I would go about it. Because I've lived, twice his life and then some. But I can say, I feel like the first thing I'd want to do, whether it's able to be received or not, is speak to the families of the people that I killed. Like, speak to them, make a public statement to them, just stipulating how emotionally attached you are to that, and how, if you feel it, like the kind of hurt that you feel. Let them know that you're the human in there, that there's a real human being behind the barrel of that AR-15 with that strap that hung from your chest that we got to hear about in nauseum. But let that be what you do, man. Let people heal. Push for peace. Advocate for less violence. It doesn't mean you take away people's rights to carry a gun. It doesn't mean you take away people's rights to bear arms, whatever. Just do better, man. Just do better. But there's more coming up too with Kyle Rittenhouse. As far as things that are happening, other people in the case. Like it says here, it says Kyle walks out to his own theme song in this one. But here's this is when you talk to Tucker Carlson. This is Kyle Rittenhouse's. Sorry, this is his Instagram page. I'm going to show you some clips from I Am Kyle Rittenhouse, I believe is the name of this. Yeah, this is Kyle Rittenhouse, is his name on Kyle Rittenhouse. Maybe I should write something to him. I don't know. But let's pull that up real quick. And I'll let you guys take a look at kind of like the hype. If you didn't see all this, because a lot of it wasn't, I couldn't find a lot of it, but let's pull this up for you real fast. And add that to stream. So this is him at Turning Point USA. That's for the AmFest, America Fest, the Freedom Rally. Let me jump into it fast.
Oh my God, man. Yes.
But he's got like a PR manager. He's got all these handlers now. It's Elijah Schaefer there. who he spends a lot of time giving shout outs to.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Watch this intro right here, man. This is wild. He might as well be running for president. I mean, let's hear one from Charlie Kirk over here. This is the platform that he's on right now. You know, he's just getting all dappered up to get on the stage here. It's all backward stuff. This is talking about his security, which, Officer Tatum. I remember meeting him in DC at one point. I did an interview with that guy, actually.
You guys who are here with me today protecting me, they've helped guide me and make me the person I am today. And I'm so thankful for them.
They're here protecting me, and they help guide me and make me the person I am today. I don't know what he means by that entirely. Now it's just, photo ops here, whatever.
Thank you so much, Turning Point, for having me. I had a blast. Thank you for all the support and everything. Get out of here.
And we're out.
First concert. This kid's first concert was at this Amfest. Anyway, this is Kyle Rittenhouse. So if you're looking to check out his Instagram page, there you go. Okay, so, and I didn't see a lot of the comments here. I'm not saying he owes anybody an apology, but condolences, I feel, would be, a gesture that would be appreciated. Going to ASU this spring, huh? So he's committed. I mean, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying, to allow ourselves to look at the platform this kid has, it's a big place to be. And I know it's a lot of pressure, man. I can't imagine the kind of pressure the kid's got on him. He's dealing with a lot. He's got to process everything from the case. He's got the entire world reaching in there and just trying to, like, puppeteer the kid, drag him around and turn him into what they want him to be, the advocate for whatever story. And this, you guys, this the reason that this is something that I'm heated about is because this isn't just Kyle Rittenhouse. This is like the younger generation right now that's being pawned and puppeteered for, like, political, pandering. You've got, I mean, if you guys look at what's been happening, and of course it's an election year, right? We go back to the election year. And you've got all the BLM happening. You've got Antifa, Black Bloc, all these protests and rallies and demonstrations. And there was so much of this generated, and it became like these political footballs, like they got tossed back and forth. And what breaks my heart is that you've got these people in the middle, these kids, and these are the same kids that would talk trash to me and try to hit me in the face with a brick. But I'm going to talk to the sympathy that I feel for them, and the fact that a lot of them don't have a clue what the hell they're doing. They have zero idea what they're out there doing. I'm not saying they're not responsible for their actions. I'm saying they don't understand why they're acting out. A lot of them, they don't have the core directive that got them out there. They have an idea, they have a faint feeling that they get from social media or from some Twitter chat line that's like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what our cause is, and they feel like they're a part of something, right? And so they jump in on that. But there's no directive. There's no one there. There's no real leadership that's saying, hey, listen, let's do this different. Let's do it different. Let's do it better, man. Let's figure out a way to make a real change, and that, I think, is where these kids are passionate, man. They're very passionate. I'm saying that passion, that want and desire to be a part of something should be nurtured. It should be fed with healthy influx of knowledge and direction. And if not even direction, just information, real information, proper information. And this ties right into what we're talking about right now. And I'm going to show you this one real quick. Listen to what Tucker Carlson says here. And this is this I do. This is what we're gonna talk about this for 2 seconds. Tucker Carlson. All right. The reason that I got into streaming is because of Tucker Carlson. Not because he motivated me to get out there and do it. And he was like, hey, man, you know what we need is more live streamers out there to cover the stuff that we can't get to. We need guys that are able to get in there and do the real work. That's not why. No. It's because of the straight blatant BS that this dude was spitting about my hometown, about my city, about Seattle. He's sitting there telling me things that were not true, lying about the facts of things that are happening. Not even lying about the facts, lying about the situation. There were no real facts. He was taking realigning these little bits of information, making it what he wanted for his own, making it what they wanted for their own. Because again, there's a news desk narrative there. But here's what I'm talking about. So at the beginning here, this is Tucker Carlson talking about Kyle Rittenhouse and just what he says. And I'm not going to go too far into it because I don't really want to listen to a lot of pontification of bullshit. We're going to just listen to this part here. And but Tucker Carlson, man, like he's even made some changes, and I'll give him that. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand there's a news desk there, and even he's had to remanage his waters. But there's a lot of people that are just 100% the gospel, right? Tucker Carlson said it. It's true. Hannity said it. It's true. CNN said it. It must be true. But we got to look past that because major media is not giving you what you need to know. They're giving you what they want you to know. And so this was what Tucker Carlson had to say about Kyle Rittenhouse. Right. So let's do this real fast.
And welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. In retrospect, it's remarkable just how dishonest, how thoroughly and intentionally dishonest the media coverage of the Kyle Rittenhouse story turned out to be.
Pause. Pause right there, okay? Pause. Allow me, if you will, to show you this real fast. Sorry, but this is like, for me, it's crazy to me. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that little breakdown that he has with Tucker, or with, where are we at over here? Sorry, let me drop it over here. Okay, that's the one. And this one here. This was an image, a doctored image that Fox News was putting out that they had to retract. Bonnie, thank you so much for that contribution over there on YouTube. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. This was what I started seeing in the news, my news that I'm watching about Seattle. Fake. This is fake. This person is doctored into this image, right? Now, that's just a small example of what I'm talking about. The stories that were coming out, the full-on, like the blatant bullshit that was being spread by major media about what was happening here. And then when I went out and experienced it for myself, very different. And this is just one of a couple images, mind you. There was, the other one that they used the same guy as the gunman in this picture right here, which, where we at over here? Let me do this one. Pull that down here. I'm getting better at this. We're doing okay. This one right here. And again, this is part of what I'm talking about. They're the same guy, but they're making this, they're building this theatrical imagery, right? They're giving us their version of what they want us to feel and think and see in the news. And it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that more and more I'm involved in what I'm doing, the more I see how incredibly grimy it is when you take things like a major media platform and you pervert the message that's available to the world, or the things that people see or hear, and is narrated through like this overarching directive that isn't about giving you real information. It's not about giving you real opportunities to know what's going on. It's just about feeding the fear. It's about, sensationalizing the madness and the chaos. I saw it out in Kenosha while I was out there during the course of the trial. When I got out there and I'd walk through the park before I went live, a couple of these major media outlets would come up to me and they're like, CJ, what's up, man? How are you? I'm good. I go, when's it going to happen? When's it going down? So when's what going to happen? Well, when's it going to crack off? Where do you think it'll happen? Do you think it'll start here or will it start somewhere else in town? I was like, what are you talking about, like riots? Like the madness? Do you mean like the fires? Is that what you think? I tell you what, how about you guys go ahead and pack up your tent, your heaters, and all of your snack trays. Get the hell out of here, because it's not going to happen. That's not what it's here for. That's not what I came for. But they wanted that. They need that. That's what they feed off of, is people to be afraid, people to have those things happen. And I know that there's a lot of great media personalities. There's a lot of amazing reporters out there. There's people that are doing a lot of hard work. I get it. But, there's these overarching things that control a narrative. What I'm pushing for more than ever now is decentralized media, man. Source your information from anywhere you can. I'm not saying I'm the go-to source for it all, because I'm still trying to figure it out. I have more questions than I have answers. Please believe that. But there's a million other people that are out doing similar things to what I'm doing. And I'm going to start just putting up lists of other streams that you can get a hold of. I'm not competing with anybody. I encourage you to go as many places as possible and source it. Figure it out, man. Do it on your own. But don't let somebody tell you what to believe. Don't let somebody tell you what's real and what's not. We can do that. We have a resource available to us. We have Google, the tip, not that I'm advocating, Bing if you want, whatever. But you can search things out on your own. But don't be biased in your research. If that's what you want to do, you'll get the answer you want. If you want to get to an answer for a question, make sure to ask it openly and allow the answer to come in and process what you hear, what you see, because it may not be what you want to, but it could just be the reality of what it is. That being said, and that's really what I wanted to kind of maybe even wrap on, was the notion that we have an opportunity to do better, guys. And not just with Kyle Rittenhouse and his media platform that he's on now and his social reach, and but just as people, be a trendsetter, set a standard and be in front of the pack. It's going to be tough, but support each other out there. And if you see someone shining like that, man, reach up, support them in some way. Let them know that they're doing the right thing. Buoy them up, give them what they need to help doing it. Because a lot of times some people have the voice that we may not have. And if you hear it, support it. Be an advocate for those people, because they're an advocate for you, if it's something that you feel that you can get behind. But it's important that we know that we collectively have an opportunity with all these things that we process to go ahead and go through that, filter it, and then do something with it. Do something positive. Do something productive. We can make a change. And I'm hoping that not just myself, but all of us will be able to look back at some point and feel comfortable knowing that we made an impact, that we made a difference, that somehow we were able to leave a stamp on the world that people remember for something positive. And that's my hope, and that's what I would ask of all of you, is to think about the legacy we're leaving, and if there's a way that we can improve it or to start one that's going to be positive, do it right now. Let today be your day. But I appreciate all of you for jumping in with me tonight. Like I said, I just want to spend a little bit of time, so a couple hours here. I got my little guy down here is chomping at the bit. I got to take my little evil Ewok out. And I'm hoping that you guys can appreciate that I respect and appreciate all your views and opinions. It may not be what I personally feel, and you may not agree with a lot of people in the chat. Maybe you do. But this is a place for people to be able to come and communicate and to link up and to find a way to get more answers than they might have when you showed up originally. So maybe not from me directly, but from someone else in here, you guys. So thank you for the support. Become a supporter if you would. The link is in the description. That makes a huge difference in my world. It'll help me continue to do what I'm doing and moving in the right direction. Continue to try to give you the best thing that I can here. Share the stream, become a supporter, set up notifications. And when you do set up notifications, make sure to go into that little bell and change it to all, not just highlights, because I want you to make sure to have access to everything we do. We'll be doing some breakout sessions with supporters here this week. I'll be traveling again this week for a little bit, but I'll make sure to keep you guys on the connection chain so you know what's happening. But I hope you're all having amazing holidays right now, and you're looking forward to Christmas or whatever celebratory day you choose to bring into your home. Happy Hanukkah, whatever it might be. Kwanzaa. Hope you're all enjoying whatever it is in the world that you have with you right now, and the people that you share it with. So I love y'all. God bless. And I look forward to seeing you here very soon. And again, for everyone that's made contributions, thank you so very much. It's appreciated. And I will see you all very soon. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.